With former Wisconsin quarterback Randy Wright. Let's talk quarterbacks in this ballgame. Temple's got a fine one. Just a junior, Henry Burris is on the verge of setting all the passing records at his school.
And I think before his career is done, he'll own every passing record. Last year against Penn State, he had an outstanding game. He's going to need that kind of game again today. 323 yards, and the key, no interceptions.
And for Penn State, another quarterback who started his first game in 3 years, succeeding Kerry Collins, is Wally Richardson. He shook off the rust of the first half against Texas Tech a week ago and finished strong.
And Richardson needs to start the way he finished the game last week. First half struggled, 7 for 19. Second half 11 for 12, 111 yards, and the key 4 for 4 on that game-winning drive.
All right, the Temple Owls with a record of 0-2 take on the Penn State Nittany Lions, the 7th-ranked team in the nation, with a record of 1-0. Here at Beaver Stadium, a sellout crowd will be on hand. Back with the opening kickoff coming up after these messages. Today's Big Ten football game is brought to you by John Hancock, the official worldwide sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Games. And Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth.
I love you, little Jenny Catherine. I want to tell you something very, very important. Daddy got a raise. That means I can buy you a sandbox, a sliding board. What do you think? You think we should put some of it away? What do you know about the stock market? I love you, little Jenny Catherine. Guess what? Daddy got a raise.
You're looking at Happy Valley. Penn State University, Beaver Stadium and University Park. Wayne Larrabee and Randy Wright. Overcast skies here this afternoon as we get set for this Big Ten contest. It'll be Penn State and Temple, and we're just about set for the opening kickoff for this afternoon's game. Penn State kicks away to the Temple Owls. The last time they got together a year ago in Philadelphia at Franklin Field, and Penn State scored a 48-21 victory. But should be pointed out, Temple held the Nittany Lions scoreless in the first period of that game, and that you have to take into consideration the high-powered Penn State offense of a year ago. Brett Conway getting set to kick it away. Twin safeties back deep for the Temple Owls. Might be the largest crowd ever to see Temple play football. By the time they're all in here, better than 90,000 will be on hand. Conway, good high kickoff. Walker, to go through his hands through the end zone. It'll be a first down at the 20-yard line for the Temple Owls. Temple comes in with a record of 0-2 off a loss at West Virginia. Take a look at the offensive setup. These are the skill players. Juan Gaddy was injured on the first play from scrimmage in Morgantown last week. Did not play the rest of the way. He's back today. John Summerday, an All-America candidate at the center position. Temple on a first down. Burris on a delay. Fumble. Penn State appeared to have it for a moment, but they are ruling now that it is going to belong to the Temple Owls.
One of the first things we talked about there, Wayne, was the fact that Temple cannot come out here and try and turn the ball over, make plays like that. They have a nice big hole. You can see Lee get the ball, puts a nice move on him, a huge hole, and as he's coming through, just drops the ball before anybody really makes contact with him. You got to hold that ball much tighter to your body in there.
As it is, it turns into about an 8-yard gain. Second down and short now for Burris. Knocked down by Atkins, the defensive end for Penn State. Todd Atkins, the senior from Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And let's take this opportunity to look at the Penn State defensive line. Terry Killens played big at the defensive end spot last week against Texas Tech. Jim Nelson has a chance to become, by the time he's done here at Penn State, one of the standout linebackers of the history of the school. And Kim Herring, very strong at that safety position, directing the secondary. And I should point out Brian Miller is an all Big Ten candidate at the corner. 3rd and 2 now coming up for the Owls. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. Motion from Walker. And penalty markers down. Apparently the Owls took too much time.
Well, I don't know if Burris was trying to audible at the line of scrimmage, but when you've got a second and few to delay a game call.
John Smith heading up this crew of Big East officials. There's Ron Dickerson in his 3rd year at Temple.
Well, that's really a big mistake, Wayne. When you've got a 3rd and 2, to go up there, take your time, not get to play off for a veteran quarterback like Burris. Now he puts his team in a much worse situation.
Temple woeful on 3rd down conversions in the first 2 games of the season. And once again, Walker in motion. Burris had a man over the middle for a moment, but the pass a bit off the mark, intended for Danny Davis out of the backfield. It is a 4th down, and the Owls will punt to the Nittany Lions.
Last week's Temple's coaches were a little concerned that early in the game, Burris wasn't throwing the ball accurately. All of his passes were going high. That time he had Davis in a man-to-man coverage. He had his man beat. Burris didn't get him the ball.
John Shea in punt formation. Fair catch signaled by Ingram, and he makes the catch. Penn State will take over. An excellent field position to begin this drive. Just short of their 45-yard line. A 34-yard punt by John Shea. Take a look at the Penn State offense. Mike Archie replaces Kijana Carter at the tailback spot for Penn State. He's a versatile back. Jeff Harding's an All-America candidate at the guard position. This is a veteran offensive line for Penn State. And the Nittany Lions put it in play, 1st and 10, football to the 45-yard line. 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Straight eye formation. That's Archie, the tail of the tandem. Wally Richardson to Mike Archie. Straight ahead move, nothing fancy here.
Number 2, Mike
Archie out across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. Lance Johnson made the stop of the play, an all Big East candidate at the outside linebacker spot. He truly is a very good player.
He's probably the best defensive player they have. Should be a very high NFL draft pick if he continues to play this year as he has in his past.
Randy, he runs a 4.38 40. He'll be a draft pick in the NFL. He have a generous spot of the ball out near the 50 on 2nd down. The play action by Richardson, and the pass knocked down incomplete. Willie Brown got a piece of it, the outside linebacker. Teeling Lloyd on the defensive line. This is where Temple has struggled, in the trenches. Willie Brown, who just knocked down that pass by Richardson. A transfer in the secondary. Robert McWilliams, the standout at safety. Willie Brown, a transfer from Alabama. 3rd and 5 now for Penn State. Down a little bit less than 5. Richardson to Archie. Forced out of bounds just short of the 1st down. Alsherman Singleton, the inside linebacker, forced him out. It is 4th down, 4th and 1 for Penn State.
That time Richardson just throwing the ball into the flat to Archie. It's the same way to run a sweep. You just get the ball in the back's hands on the outside. Singleton did a really nice job coming up there, forcing him out of bounds. One-on-one that time.
The Temple linebackers are very strong. The Penn State people very impressed with Temple's linebacking core. We'll talk about it a little bit as this game ensues. Single safety back deep now for the Temple Owls. Kevin Walker. Kania in punt formation for Penn State. Averaged 33 yards a punt last week against Texas Tech. Got a high snap there. Walker allows it to hit on the 5. Picks a Penn State bounce. Stays in play. And the Lions down it near the 9-yard line. Brian King covered it quickly. 37-yard punt, no return. Temple will start its 2nd offensive drive of the game. Deep in its own territory. Scoreless in the early going at Beaver Stadium.
Aunt Ethel and the whole family are visiting, and you get to play tour guide. Uh-oh, your car's in the shop again, and you need wheels. Headed for a wacky weekend somewhere? Whatever your needs, Budget has the car you need. Budget, a smart place to start.
On the road or at home, Budget has you covered.
The smart money is on Budget.
The word is out. Hackers is an experience you'll never forget.
Never send a boy to do a woman's job.
An extraordinary, stunning spectacle. Highly entertaining, a must-see.
I win, you wear a dress on our date.
And if I win, so do you.
Without a doubt, Hackers is the coolest way to start the fall.
You're not good enough to beat us.
Yeah, maybe I'm not, but we are.
Hackers, rated PG-13. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Look what my bank sent me.
What?
A check card.
Looks more like an ATM card with a Visa logo on it.
It says here it works just like an ATM card, only better.
How better?
I'm getting to that part. It says I can still use it to get cash, plus I can buy anything I want anywhere that takes Visa.
You don't say.
I just did. And then the money comes out of my checking account just like a check.
Your checking account?
Yeah.
Mind if I borrow it?
Yes, I do, you old fool.
The Visa check card. The card that works like a check.
I wouldn't let you borrow my shoes.
The former Wisconsin quarterback, Randy Wright. You're looking at Beaver Stadium, University Park, State College, Pennsylvania. Temple Owls on offense for the second time this afternoon. First down, the football just short of the 10-yard line in Temple territory. Burris has time. Good throw to Whitehead over the middle for a short gain out across the 11-yard line. Jim Nelson, the outside linebacker, made the stop. Henry Burris, the junior quarterback, we mentioned him at the top of the show here this afternoon. He's closing in on, and he has, in fact, set some all-time Temple passing records.
And last year, Wayne, we mentioned at the top of the show, he had a great game against Penn State, over 300 yards passing. Those two, one of the three that he's had, he needs to have that kind of success here again.
2nd and 8. Lee. Atkins closed quickly on the play. And Penn State flows to the football. Noble also in on that stop.
Brian Miller did a nice job for Penn State, coming up here on the outside to force Lee to turn it up. As you can see, Lee gets the pitch. He wants to get to the outside, but as Miller comes up, forces him inside. That's where all of Penn State's pursuit is. They're not going to let him get to the outside. They've got great team speed on defense, Penn State does. And if they can turn everything back towards the middle, they're going to get tackles for little, if any, gain.
3rd and 8 now for Burris. Burris being flushed from the pocket by Collins. Oh, great catch and throw for a first down out across the 20-yard line. There's a penalty marker down in the backfield. Jason Collins made the stop on Kedrick Whitehead.
Oh, Burris, that's where he is most dangerous, and that was the biggest concern that Penn State had against Burris. It's the holding penalty in the end zone that is really going to back them up. Whitehead makes a nice catch, would have been out by the first down, would have given them first down yardage. Now they're really going to be backed up. If you're Burris here, you've really got to be careful, because the first thing you need to do is get to the 5-yard line. It gives your punter at least enough punt to kick the ball.
So they talk it over again with the Nittany Lions, and obviously they'll take the penalty because it would have been a first down on the play. Holding the call against Temple, as you see John Smith flash the indication to the press box.
Wayne, one thing with a quarterback as mobile as Burris, your offensive linemen don't always know where he is. He's not mobile. They know he's in the pocket. When he moves, a defensive lineman can see him move. Then he adjusts. An offensive lineman can grab to hold on. That's where a lot of the holding penalties come.
You got a 3rd and 18 play, Coach?
Quick kick.
Ramon Lee got out to the 5-yard line, as you suggested they had to do, Randy, to give their punter, John Shea, a little more room. Brad Scioli made the stop on the play. Scioli playing in the middle of the Penn State line in place of Eric Clare, who is serving a suspension for the first 2 games of the season for an off-field problem during the summer. Shea in punt formation averaged 40 yards over the first 2 games of the season. It's off a nice kick here. This is Ingram from the midfield marker. Ingram sets up Penn State inside the Temple 35. 45-yard punt. Over to make the stop, Aaron Peterson and Keith Karen back after these words.
So the Nittany Lions and the Fighting Irish have given us another great college football game. And here are 2 tired generals looking for each other at midfield.
Tough break, Joe.
Yeah, I know. The tie's too much. It's nice, but maybe next time something in a crew neck. How'd you think that'd be too casual?
Collect a Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents.
Look, Joe, it's not the end of the world. Next cup, think pastels.
You know, it's going to be a great season.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great season.
I think it's going to be a good season.
There's a lot of question marks. Who's the young quarterbacks? Who are the older guys going to last? I think it's just going to be really terrific here. Miami should win it.
They say so.
Miami has a chance.
AFC?
Miami has, I'll tell you something. Miami has a chance to win everything.
Oh, Super Bowl?
They got a chance to win it all.
Well, can the Niners repeat?
Yeah.
Can Dallas pick up ground?
Yeah.
Will the AFC have a shot at the Super Bowl?
No.
Welcome back to University Park. Penn State, Temple scoreless. Penn State gets the football for the second time offensively. Bobby Ingram just returned the last punt by John Shea, one of the most prolific receivers in Penn State history.
Well, he's just passed his current position coach, Kenny Jackson. You talk to Jackson. Jackson feels within a matter of just a few weeks, he's going to be the #1 guy.
You know, it's hard to believe Bobby Ingram last year had a 1,000-yard season as a receiver. Only the first Penn State receiver in the history of the school to get 1,000 yards receiving in 1 year.
Freddie Scott came up only 25, 30 yards short of doing that.
Penn State from the 33 of Temple on a first down. Good play action by Richardson. Got Olsemer, the tight end, for a first down near the 22-yard line.
Olsemer does a nice job as he finds the soft zone where the cushion is. He sits in the pocket. He doesn't keep running. As you can see, Richardson come out with the play pass. He looks to the outside. Whitman's covered. He comes back off of him. Olsemer sits right where the opening is, doesn't run into where coverage is. Nice play by Olsemer.
Olsemer caught a key touchdown pass against Texas Tech last week on a 4th and 3 call. First down, Penn State. Scoreless in this first quarter. Mike Archie, big hole right side. Good cutback. Touchdown, Penn State.
One of the risks you play when you're Temple, if you're going to bring 8 men up to the line of scrimmage, you have to make contact right at the line and stop any penetration down the field by the backs. Once Archie breaks through, there's nobody in the secondary to get him.
Take a look at it from the end zone. They collapsed the line, Randy.
Oh, they collapsed, and then he just put a heck of a move on Jackson right there. There was no free safety. All the defensive backs were only 4 or 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. As I said, you get good blocking up front. You only have to put one move on. There's nobody left to make the tackle.
Brett Conway for the point after. Out of the hold of Joe Nastasi. Conway, whose 39-yard field goal a week ago beat Texas Tech with 4 seconds remaining, gives Penn State a 7-0 lead over the Temple Owls with 10:34 to go in this first quarter. What they say about Mike Archie is, look at his feet. He's so shifty. He's quick.
Much different than what Penn State is used to from last year with Kajana Carter. He gets to the outside quicker. He is not a power runner. He's not a real finesse type. Well, he is a real finesse type, but he moves in and out. He gets to the outside quicker. He's got great hands. Much better short yardage situations when you need to run to the outside.
Kajana Carter had tremendous speed and, of course, great power. Archie is perhaps a better receiver, a little more shifty in terms of his movement at the line of scrimmage, and you saw it right there.
And we saw that, as you said, when he put the move on Alan Jackson. Jackson had nobody there blocking him. He had nobody there. You got to come up and make that tackle.
And Ron Dickerson, in his 3rd year at Temple, concerned he does not want this one to get out of hand early, obviously. His team played well at West Virginia last week and came up with empty. They had a rough opener at Kansas State, played well in losing last week 24-13 at West Virginia. Dickerson was very disappointed after that game.
And last year against Penn State, they played well. They were the only team to shut Penn State out in the first quarter. Obviously, that's not going to happen here today.
Ramad Lee downs it in the end zone, and it'll be a first down for Temple from the 20-yard line. Temple's 3 drives have started at their own 20, their 9-yard line, and the Temple 20-yard line again.
Penn State really took advantage of the field position. Even though they had a couple of punts, Temple had a couple of punts, they just kept gaining yardage on that punt exchange. That one they took over right around midfield. Wasn't a very long drive for him.
Archie finished that drive off from 22 yards away. Now Burris needs to settle down this Temple offense. Burris First being rushed by Killens. Terry Killens, a senior out of Cincinnati, had 7 tackles, 4 solos, a sack, and a fumble recovery last week against Texas Tech.
And this is what Penn State wants to do, contain Burst in the pocket. When the rush comes, if you're Killens, come from the outside, make him step up. As he steps up, that's where your help comes from. Killens was quick enough to catch him and get the sack.
A loss of 3 on the play. Burris facing second down and long. Danny Davis, the lone setback. Burris screens it out to Davis. Caught from behind by Killens. A fine play by the defensive end. Gain of a couple of yards. It'll leave third down and almost 11 yards to go.
I thought it was a real good call, too, Wayne. Burris just threw the ball maybe a little quicker than he had to, and there wasn't enough separation between Davis and Killens. When you run a screen like that, you try to get all of the defensive linemen right by you. Killens did a nice job maybe of reading that, hung around where Davis was. A little more separation. Looked like it could have been a big play.
That's Baxter and Walker at the top of your screen. Kersey on the bottom. The receiving core on 3rd and 11 for Temple. Burris has Kersey. But Kersey far short of the first down. On the tackle by Gerald Filardi, the inside linebacker. 4th down, Temple.
Good coverage that time by Penn State secondary. Burris looked like he had enough time to throw the ball. Just wasn't anybody open downfield. As he drops back here, he's looking downfield. You see Whitehead coming, and then you see Kersey coming across. There's nobody open downfield. Burris just has to dump it off. Penn State can react and come up and make the tackle.
Ingram, a fair catch signal on the punt by John Shea. And Penn State will take over just across its 35-yard line. 36-yard punt by Shea. Good leverage into it. No return by Ingram.
You've got to be happy if you're Penn State special teams coaches. Ingram had some trouble last week hanging on to some of those punts. Hadn't fumbled at all in 1994. Fumbled 2 punts last week. Caught 3 of them successfully so far today.
First down to the 36 for Penn State. Archie made one man miss. He got by Johnstone, the All-Big East candidate at linebacker, but lost his footing near the 38-yard line, gain of a couple of yards. You know, you were mentioning the turnovers last week, Randy. The Nittany Lions lost just 4 fumbles all of last year. They lost 3 in the first half last week.
2 of them special teams.
Yes.
But still, as a team, they only lost 4, 3 of them last week. Same kind of stat about the offensive line we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Second down for Richardson. Maybe changing the play of the line. Just threw it away. Good coverage downfield. He wanted to get it into his wide receiver, Chris Campbell, and good coverage provided by Ted McDuffie, the safety, who was on him all the way.
McDuffie, I think, baited Richardson into calling that audible. Just a quick little out, a very low-risk, high-percentage pass. But as Richardson dropped back, saw the Temple had adjusted, very smart decision to throw the ball away.
One of the points Penn State coaches are looking for in the development of Wally Richardson is how he checks off and gets them out of different formations at the line of scrimmage. Third down. Ingram for a first down to the 49 of Temple. McDuffie on the stop. And the Nittany Lions move the chains.
Temple doesn't have a lot of confidence covering Penn State's 4 wideout set in man-to-man. If you're going to play zone, you're going to play a 4-deep zone is basically what they have. The underneath coverage is going to be very lacking. There's going to be a lot of holes. Ingram does a nice job of catching the ball and then diving for enough yardage to get the first down.
Ingram and Scott, the tandem to the bottom of your screen. Olsemer, the tight end, in motion. Richardson, 3 of 5 for 27 yards. There's Scott in motion. Milne, the fullback.
Talking with Penn State's coaches yesterday, they felt that they wanted to attack inside the defensive ends of Temple. That's where they were the weakest. They felt if they can continue to beat those guys down, Andy Phipps and T-Lang Lloyd, it may not produce positive results early in the game, but as the game wears on, those players are going to get worn down. Their linebackers are going to get tired. You'll really start seeing the benefits down the road.
Juravicius now the wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Penn State from the eye. Second down, about 8. Archie Good decision there. Took it straight up the middle. And he's down to the Temple 43-yard line. T. Lang Lloyd made the stop.
Again, Archie running the ball up the middle. Looked like he had a chance to cut the ball outside. Looked like he tried to do that, but then he sees the hole right there as he cuts back up the middle. Temple's making the tackle, but as you said, 5-6 yards downfield.
Third down for Richardson. Olsemer, the tight end, for a first down. To the 36-yard line on a gain of about 5. Robert McWilliams, the safety, made the stop.
Wally Richardson does a nice job on play action right here. Against a 4-3, it's easier to throw over the middle because the linebackers are gone. As you see, middle linebacker steps up. Olsemer does a nice little 5-6 yard out route. Richardson hits him right on the numbers. No linebackers underneath.
First down to the Temple 36. Play action by Richardson. Milne, the open man, to the 28-yard line, and a penalty marker down late. Now Sherman Singleton, Willie Brown team up on the tackle.
Willie Brown.
Might be a face mask and a high tackle attempt that time.
That's all Temple needs is some more negative yardage to tack on to Penn State. As you can see, the face mask there by Singleton. You got a guy boxed into the sideline. You've got 2 or 3 players on your team right over there. Yeah.
Malfunction with the microphone of John Smith here in the stadium.
Those are the kind of penalties, Wayne, that drive a coach crazy. Like I said, you're boxed into the end zone, boxed into the sideline. You've got 2 or 3 players over there. There's nowhere Milne's going.
3 penalties, 20 yards against Temple here this afternoon in the early going. Penn State leading 7-0 on a first down. Archie weaving his way through traffic. Singleton made the first hit, but not before Archie has 8 yards down to the 15-yard line of Temple.
Temple's defensive coaches yesterday felt anytime they throw the ball, they're going to jump up. This is what they feared. That Penn State running the ball right at him. Good blocking up front by that massive Penn State offensive line. Archie just doing a nice job of holding on to the football.
Second down and short for Richardson. Temple showing blitz, and they're coming. Milne hit by Singleton and Brown. A loss of maybe a yard. It'll leave Penn State third down and a good 3.5 to 4 yards to go.
A couple of plays ago when Penn State scored the touchdown, you saw all the men up on the line of scrimmage. They didn't get the tackle. This time, they bring all those men. They bring the linebackers. Singleton comes through, unblocked, makes a nice hit in the backfield. Does a good job of wrapping his arms around, making sure that Milne does not get away.
Sherman Singleton had a big game last week with 16 tackles. Penn State now facing 3rd and 4. Archie close to the first down, but not quite. Just out to the 10-yard line. Jason Davis, the defensive end, on the tackle. It's 4th down for Penn State, 4th at about 2.
A play that has worked well for Penn State coming up to that one right there. That inside, almost a delayed draw inside. Let Archie pick his holes. That time Davis did a nice job hanging around the line of scrimmage, made the sure tackle.
The Nittany Lions call on Brett Conway. Conway missed field goals of 49 and 37 last week before making the 39-yarder to win it. This, a 32-yard field goal attempt. Clean snap, good hold, and the kick is good. 3:46 to go, and this the first quarter. Penn State leading by 10 in Happy Valley.
I've been thinking about having my mother move in here.
Here?
Yeah.
With us?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I was thinking maybe we could add on.
You can't afford that right now. You got the kids, the cars, their education.
What if
and on top of that, we got to look at our retirement. We got to start looking at that very seriously. I just don't see what we can do.
Dad, Grandma could have my room. Okay.
When they were small, we had a little sports car.
But then they got bigger, so we had to get a four-door.
So we leased a new Volkswagen Jetta, $199 a month. Nice, huh? The German-engineered front-wheel drive Jetta comes with rack and pinion steering, daytime running lights, dual airbags. It's a great driving car.
It's got a big back seat.
And a huge trunk.
Weimaraner's come from Germany.
Maybe that's why they like driving so much.
On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Penn State has scored on a 22-yard Mike Archie touchdown run, and Brett Conway 32-yard field goal to take the lead with 3:49 or 3:46 left to go in this first quarter. Today's Big Ten Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of Created Sports Incorporated. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of any or all of this game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited.
Wayne, Temple really hasn't had any kind of field position to do what they want to do offensively. Take some gambles, try and throw the ball downfield, let Burris maneuver around and try and make some plays on his athletic ability. Penn State's been successful in moving them back and locking them into their own end of the field. It's really taken Temple so far basically out of what they want to do.
There's the scoring drive that led to the field goal by Conway. Little time-consuming drive there. Took almost 5 minutes.
Well, that's what Penn State wanted to do, too, was come out and run the ball and just wear them down. They mixed in a few nice little passes, but Richardson didn't have really that many reads where he had to make the plays or had to throw the ball deep downfield. It's kind of what we thought would happen as the game opened up.
Walker on the near side is the deep man. Lee on the top of your screen, and Lee is the man who chases it through the end zone, and it will belong to Temple out of the 20-yard line. Boy, Conway has shown a very long leg here this afternoon.
He's an excellent kicker. Last week, he had the 2 misses, very uncharacteristic for him. He only missed 2 field goals all of last year. And then he had the game winner, of course, at the end of the game. Very uncharacteristic to miss those 2. Solid kicker, though.
So Burris on a first down out of his 20-yard line. Ramon Lee. Strong support by Brian Miller.
When you're playing a 2-deep zone, your corners are responsible for contain. As you see Lee get the ball, run to the outside, Miller comes up, unblocked, and makes the tackle. It's very hard to make that tackle one-on-one because Lee is big. He's 230 pounds. Miller's only 183. Tacks him low, makes a hit. Heck of a good open field tackle by Miller that time.
Second down off a loss of a couple. They didn't pick up Killens. Ramon Lee nowhere to go. Loss of another 2 yards.
Burris did a nice job just getting rid of the ball before Killens came in and sacked him. He threw the ball a little bit before Lee was ready for it. He didn't have any blocking out in front of him, and Lee did a nice job just to catch and hang on to the ball.
Scioli made the tackle after the pass. Take a look at the pressure they bring on Burris here.
Well, they're trying to drop him back 7 steps, and when you're running a swing, you've got to give your quarterback protection before the play develops to the outside. When you get early pressure, it disrupts the timing of everything.
3rd and long. Trying to hit the slant pattern to Walker, broken up on the play. Herring and Miller were there defensively out near the 25-yard line. Round of applause for the Penn State defense. And Miller limping off. The All-Big Ten candidate at quarterback.
Wayne, that's an applause that the defense hasn't heard a lot here the last couple of years. Last year in particular, last week, they played an outstanding game, took a lot of pride in what they did. They've got a new pride about what they want to accomplish this year.
Ingram to give Penn State excellent field position once again. From the 29, it'll be a first down for Penn State. Patterson made the stop for Temple.
Just touching base on what we were talking about before, Penn State's defense feels that they actually won that game last week because they really did a good job of shutting down Texas Tech. And if their defense can play like they hope it does, as the offensive players that are taking over for those superstars that graduated last year, as they mature and develop, I think this team can be a good, well-balanced, solid football team.
You take a look at them down the road. When they come up into the Big Ten Conference, they're going to be a load to handle. There's no doubt about that. First down to the 29 of Temple. Short drop by Richardson. Freddie Scott. Good open field tackle by Dedrick Epps.
Penn State not giving Richardson a lot to work with. He struggled last week in the first half. Coaches felt they gave him too many things to look at. They made him think too much while on the move. They really wanted to simplify a little bit as the game started. Nothing but play action passes, quick drops. That time Richardson just drops back 3 steps, hits Scott on a nice ball.
Second down now for Richardson. About 4 yards to go. Another play action. The screen to Archie with some blocking. First down just inside the 12-yard line of Temple. Willie Brown, the strong side linebacker, forced him out.
What a nice play by Richardson to set that up. The play action pass as he comes back here. He fakes the ball to Archie. Then he looks downfield towards Ingram. Comes back as the rush gets to him. Gets the ball out to Archie. Does a nice job of setting up his blocks. Rivera right there does a nice job. Gives Archie a little bit of room. Archie gets the most that he can.
Randy, you've got to be impressed with the way Wally Richardson handles the football in the backfield.
They think he's got all the tools necessary to be an outstanding quarterback. The only thing he needs is experience.
Richardson wide open. Whitman touchdown.
Well, you can see when you have a strong running game how that opens up the passing game, especially to your back. When you play action pass, as they did that time to Archie, nobody covers Whitman. He's been blocking the entire time. Watch here as Richardson goes back, play action pass to Archie. Whitman, who's been blocking, slips right into the flat. Linebacker on that side, Johnstone, nowhere to be found.
So Penn State extends its advantage to 16-0 in the final 2 minutes of this first quarter. Conway with the point after, and Richardson, who struggled in the first half last week against Texas Tech, this afternoon comes out hitting 8 of 10 passes for 71 yards and a touchdown.
He really grew up in that second half last week against Texas Tech. And what was really impressive about Richardson's development is if you read the write-ups, if you talk to their players, they were impressed with the poise, the leadership, the confidence in the huddle. You don't see that a lot for a guy that's taken over for an All-American quarterback that just graduated.
Richardson's first start came at Temple for Joe Paterno back in 1992. But Kerry Collins emerged at quarterback, became an All-America here, and a first-round draft choice in the NFL.
They haven't had many years where they haven't had an outstanding quarterback here at Penn State.
Well, we had an opportunity to drop by the coach's office yesterday, and they've got a room dedicated to some of the great players that have been here. And you take a look at some of the quarterbacks. Chuck Fusina, whom you played with in Green Bay. And a number of others who have been here through the years. Todd Blackledge. Some great quarterbacks here at Penn State.
What was the most surprising thing to you going through that room yesterday?
The fact that only one Heisman Trophy winner.
You asked Joe about that. He said, we lead the nation in twos and threes, but we've only got one winner.
Exactly. Here's Conway's kickoff. Again, he's been getting good leverage and depth into his kick. Ramon Lee about 2 yards deep. Fine run back by Lee, about 29 yards. Shino Prater made the stop for Penn State. And Temple finally, Randy Wright, gets some field position to work with.
And we'll see if they can do something with that. They should be able now to open up that offense, let Burris create his own plays when something breaks down. Hopefully for Temple, he can create some positive things, start moving this ball down the field.
Under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Penn State leading 17-0. Lions shift up front on the line. Ramon Lee into heavy traffic. Maybe a yard. Aaron Collins led the way. They had Jason Collins, his brother, Collins, a familiar name here in Penn State defensive lore. These are the 4th and 5th Collins brothers to play for Joe Paterno here at Penn State. Andre Collins, of course, being the best, went on to a fine career in the NFL now.
The best so far.
Yes, so far. It should qualify that.
Jerry Sandusky, the defense coordinator, said he didn't know if the Collinses are coming or going. There's so many of them.
2nd and long. Davis, nice spin move for about 3 or 4 yards out across the 30. And a 3rd down passing situation coming up for the Temple Owls.
Well, Temple is not really taking advantage of this outstanding field position. They're dropping back and basically running slow developing running plays. And with that quick defense that Penn State has, there's plenty of time for them to see what's going on. The handoff is happening so deep in the backfield. There's plenty of time for them to see what's happening, react to it, and converge, close the hole.
An official's timeout called. Let's see what they're checking on right now. 14 seconds to go. This should be the final play of the first quarter. Joe Paterno very concerned on the Penn State sideline.
This is where Burris really gets dangerous. 3rd and 5 and 6. You can run pass patterns that get your backs involved, so you really have to be careful from the linebacker, but yet that opens up the gap to let Burris run for the 1st down.
Time winding down to this first quarter. They did not get the play off in time. You know, Joe Paterno has been arguing with the officials in rather animated fashion here now, and I think he's concerned about the clock. The play clock is what he apparently is concerned about. The play clock was reset, and apparently, according to Joe, it shouldn't have been reset. That's the end of the first quarter with a score. Penn State 17, Temple nothing. We'll be back with the second quarter after these messages.
It started out as a harmless joyride on the beach. Then it got serious. Now available from ESPN Home Video, the NASCAR story. The most complete video history of NASCAR racing ever produced. Watch America's motorsport move from those early duels on the dirt to the high-tech, high-bank battles of today. You get all 4 videos for half the individual price. Just call 800-764-5441 or send $39.95 plus $5 handling to the address on the screen.
It's easier to tell you what's not on sale during Heckinger's 10% off door and window sale. This store isn't on sale, nor is this one. But all interior, exterior, patio, and storm doors from Emco, Stanley, and others are 10% off. Windows can't help you here or here. But you can save 10% on all windows from Anderson Metal Industries and more. Plus, save 10% on the installation of any door or window you buy at Heckinger during the 10% off door and window sale. Hurry, sale ends Saturday.
Wayne Larrivee, Randy Wright back at Beaver Stadium. Penn State leading 17-0 after the first quarter. A dramatic difference from a year ago when Temple had a 6-0 lead at the end of one quarter in Philadelphia.
Penn State came out. I think they were awakened, as Joe Paterno predicted they would be, by that close call last week against Texas Tech. They're doing their best to take that thought out of Temple's mind very early here.
3rd down. About 6 for Temple. Burris under immediate pressure. Nowhere to go. Brandon Noble initially. First through the middle of the line and disrupted that play, and Todd Atkins wrapped him up.
Burris just had absolutely no place to go. Just a simple drop back, but as you can see, Noble right here just whips Summerday, comes through there. Now Burris has to run. He doesn't know where his receivers are. As he's running, Atkins closes on the outside, gets the sack.
John Shea got off a poor punt there, and it's down by the Temple Owls near the 43-yard line of Temple.
Talked about Temple having good field position and seeing what they could do with it. Penn State taking over after that fiasco by Temple's offense. Again, in excellent field position.
Just a 28-yard punt that time by Shea. Ron Dickerson was an assistant here for 5 years at Penn State under Joe Paterno back in the early to mid-'80s. Should say the mid to late 80s here, 85 to 90. He was the assistant under Paterno. Lots of time for Richardson, and he just threw that away. Good coverage downfield apparently by the Temple Owls.
That's the maturity that they're looking for in Richardson. He has to develop that. last week, forced some things, didn't have that composure back in the pocket. When you're back there and everybody's covered, you've got to admit as a quarterback, sometimes the defense is going to win. They're good players on that side of the ball. When they win that play, throw it away, come right back. You've got excellent field position. Come right back, do it again.
Penn State 2nd and 10. Ingram in motion. Richardson to Ingram in the flat. Follows the blocking out front by Marco Rivera. Robert McWilliams makes the stop. There is a penalty marker down on the field.
I think the blocking by Marco Rivera out there wasn't quite legal.
Okay. Apparently that is the problem. Holding the call against Penn State.
Penn State comes up with many different ways to try and get the ball to Ingram. The returning Biletnikoff Award winner last year, top receiver in the country. This, just a little screen, get the ball to him, put a lineman out in front of him, and let him pick his hole. Rivera, as you can see, holding on to Brown out there.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot. Repeat the down.
Well, John Smith has his voice back. It's good to hear.
It's about the only thing Penn State has done that has helped Temple out. They didn't want to turn the ball over. They didn't want to make any mental mistakes. They felt if they played their best game today, Temple did not have the ability to stick with them. So far, it's been pretty error-free.
The holding penalty wiped out a 9-yard gain. Now 2nd and 11 for Penn State. Temple showing blitz up front. They back off. Pass wide of the mark, intended for Olsummer. And McWilliams had the coverage downfield.
Penn State's had a lot of success running the ball early in this game. Right now, they seem to be going to a little bit of a passing game just to give Richardson some different looks. Turning around, they need to get him some experience. Turning around and handing off, even though it's working for you, Penn State can always go back to that. They've got confidence. They know they can run the ball. They're trying to give Richardson some different looks. Let him throw the ball downfield. Let him get a feel for that rush.
3rd and long for Penn State. 3rd and 11. They're 2 of 4 on 3rd down conversion. Wide open. Chris Campbell could not hang on. He would have had a first down and a whole lot more.
Penn State breaks their offense, 4 wide receivers. When Temple tries to play that 4 deep and the linebackers go outside, look at the middle of the field here. There is nobody in the middle of the field. Richardson does a nice job of waiting until Campbell comes across the middle. Campbell looks upfield a little bit before the ball gets there, drops the ball. That could have been a really big play had Campbell just held on to it.
Kania in punt formation. Nearly muffed by Walker, who made a good play on that ball that was tailing away from him. Kania with good leverage into that punt.
Good no call by the referee that time. It looked like he was thinking about calling roughing the kicker, running into the kicker. Good no call.
Apparently there was a flag thrown on the play. I don't know if Smith is going to pick it up or what. Let's see what Smith is talking with Penn State now. Penalty is against Temple. Ron Dickerson looking on. He's somewhat concerned, not sure what the call is. Apparently they have too many men on the field.
That's one way to stop them.
Illegal participation, receiving team. 15-yard penalty is assessed from the previous spot. The penalty will give the kicking team a first down.
Since it took place before the ball was kicked, before the possession changes, it goes back to Penn State's possession now. They get a 15-yard penalty and a first down.
A costly error for Coach Dickerson of the Temple Owls.
Well, those are the kind of things you can't control as a coach. Some of the things on the field. Those types of mistakes you can. You know, those are just not knowing what's going on the field for some of the players. Who's supposed to be out there, who's not. That's the kind of thing that's frustrating.
And Temple has made costly mistakes. 4 penalties, 35 yards against the Owls here. And apparently now, timeout being called by Temple And the Owls will talk things over, trying to get themselves set. Penn State back on the field offensively. And Ron Dickerson and company really struggling here in Happy Valley and early in the second quarter, trailing 17-0 and giving Penn State new life at the 28-yard line of the Owls.
But Wayne, they haven't seemed to find anything yet that they can really hang their hat on. They haven't stopped Penn State running the ball right at them. They need to find something that they can really hang their hat on, have some confidence, something to give them a little momentum.
Penn State leading big in the second.
In these mountains, you need a tough truck.
Dave Ashley, search and rescue volunteer.
Trails, I tend to make my own. It's one torture test after another. But the people I'm looking for depend on someone to find them. Well, I depend on something too. My Ford F-Series. How do you learn a job like this? Let's just say I drive something tougher than a golf cart on the weekends.
Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford Tough.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines around the world.
Excuse me, guys.
Than any other card. Look for your Gold MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
Penn State, with the nation's longest winning streak at 18 games, has started strong here this afternoon, and they lead 17-0. Take a look at the numbers from the first quarter.
Well, the one that jumps out at you right away, Wayne, 0 first downs for Temple. 7 first downs for Penn State. If you're not making any first downs, you're not moving the ball at all.
A time of possession number, though, and hard to believe it's in favor of Temple in that situation.
Penn State hasn't had to go very far when they've gotten the ball.
Yep.
They've thrown the ball, they've gotten it out of bounds. Some of those things that stop the clock. Temple really hasn't been able to do anything.
Here we go.
Penn State, first down near the 28-yard line of Temple. Milne, the fullback, and he is a load. First to the ball, Willie Brown. He had some help from his friends. Alsherman Singleton was also there.
Milne is one that rotates with Whitman. Offensive coaches, they don't really care who's carrying the ball at fullback. Between Whitman and Milne, they're both about the same. Experienced players, they bring the same thing to the team. I think with Eberle being in there, an inexperienced young tailback, you'll see Milne carry the majority of the load down here.
Eberle 3 weeks ago was a defensive back, right? Second down. Richardson, lots of time. Ingram for the touchdown. 26 yards.
Excellent protection that time for Richardson. Allowed him to hold the ball back in the pocket and gave Ingram time to run his route. Ingram runs a post route as Epps bites on the post. Ingram then breaks it out to the corner. You'll see Richardson back here with plenty of time. Ingram comes into the post, turns Epps around. Richardson has plenty of time to throw the ball, then throws a nice pass with very, very loose coverage at time by Epps.
Ingram now 3 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Richardson has hit 10 of 15 in the passing department. He hit his last 10 in a row against Texas Tech last week. The extra point is good by Conway, and Penn State extends the advantage to 24-0. So the Nittany Lions off to a strong start as they look to extend their streak to 19 in a row.
Identify yourself. You grab the bull by the horns, spit in the face of danger, throw caution to the wind, or are you a cornflake eater? No way. You plow into the flavor flexion, up and atom taste of Wheaties, made with wall-to-wall, indoor, outdoor, toasty, tasty, 100% whole wheat. The whole mouthful of flavor. It's the whole enchilada. So for taste that tears it up, let's loose. Where's the pan? Try the over-the-top taste of whole wheat Wheaties.
Owning my own business.
Nothing like that feeling.
And it's a great feeling.
When it's your business, every day and every dollar has to count.
You have your own business. I enjoy it.
So consider the American Express corporate card for small business. The card that offers real value, like savings on hotels, car rentals, and UPS overnight shipping. 3% off gasoline at Mobil. Even accident disability insurance at no extra cost. To apply, watch your mail for your application
or call 1-800-835-AMEX.
The best car to have.
Now let me get this straight. You expect me to wake up, watch you guys on game day for an hour and 15 minutes, talking about all the upcoming games, then watch all the games for 6 hours, then turn back to watch you guys on prime time to wrap up all the games for another hour? In other words, over 8 hours of non-stop football? Yeah! Okay, I love it. Okay, and pass the pickle. You're nuts.
Mike Gleason back in the Big Ten studios. The Hoosiers striking first in Bloomington. Alex Smith at just under 1,500 yards. The freshman turns this one out from 19 yards away. Indiana leads 10-0 in the second quarter now. Let's go back to Wayne and Randy in State College, PA.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Right here, Penn State impressive in the early going, 24-0 over Temple. The Owls have made some mistakes, crucial mistakes, and penalties, especially, Randy, that have either stalled offensive drives or have given Penn State new life on defense.
Some of them foolish penalties. They shouldn't happen. The type of penalties that happen because of aggressiveness on the field, that's part of the game. The mistake that happened on that last punt that Penn State got the first down, that's unforgivable.
Walker allows it to sail out of bounds, and that's the first mistake by Brett Conway here this afternoon. So Temple will have its best field position to start a drive here today.
Ron Dickerson's got his work cut out for him right now to keep his team somewhat confident, not to get totally down on yourself. You're down 24-0. They have to at least get into a rhythm. Maybe you think, is this not unsurmountable, but you've got to take it one at a time.
Illegal procedure, free kick out of bounds. The receiving team is elected to take the ball at the 35, first down.
You can't try and get all 24 points back at one time. You have to stay in what your offense is, what it's designed to do, try and get them one at a time.
They got the offset eye on first down. Gaddy met in the hole and driven back. Collins, Scioli, Velarde, all were there. No gain.
Well, when you run a draw, as Gaddy was trying to do, you don't have a lot of momentum going when you get the ball. That time, no room to run through. Collins does a nice job. He's unblocked. Velarde is unblocked. You have to block somebody when you run a draw.
Who was blocked?
You can't let everybody go with a draw.
2nd and 10. Blitz coming from Penn State. Burris, no chance. Well, I tell you, they brought Jim Nelson, the outside linebacker. He was unblocked, but Todd Atkins, the country boy from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, arrived on the scene early. Third sack for Penn State.
You can pick a number right here. Atkins comes through unblocked. It's easy to get a sack when you're unblocked. You still have to wrap him up, but there are some mental mistakes being made on that Temple offensive line right now that are really putting Burris in a horrible position. They've got to straighten out what they're trying to do before they can physically try and do it.
They have been shuffling the offensive line due to injuries all season, have the Owls of Temple. 3rd and long, and Burris a deep drop. Van Johnson, the intended receiver. Killens in the flat almost picked that off. Johnson didn't quite make the play, and Burris has struggled here today.
What happens when you're a quarterback that is used to getting pressure, you don't have confidence in your offensive line. That time, Burris had plenty of time to throw the ball, and he had Johnson wide open on an out cut. But in your mind, you rush things because you just don't think you have the time. Burris rushed that throw, and therefore threw it low.
Here comes Ingram. And Penn State will take over near its 40-yard line. Frank Carter forced him out. There is a penalty marker down. Penalty marker on the play.
Going to have a group discussion here again.
Illegal procedure against the Temple Owls.
Now, those are things, Wayne, that are much more acceptable to happen in the first game. This is the 3rd game that Temple has played. Special teams probably doesn't get as much work as your offense and your defense does, but still, maybe you credit it to 95,000 fans in the stands, which Temple's not used to playing in front of. But you got to keep your composure a little bit better than that.
Well, Ron Dickerson, again, very concerned over his ball club's play in this first half of play.
Illegal formation, kicking team. The 5-yard penalty is assessed from the previous stop. Replay, 4th down.
So Ingram will get another crack at it. You don't want to give Bobby Ingram too many chances to return kicks. He can make big plays.
He's had some very nice returns already here today that have put Penn State in excellent field position. Not that they need any more help.
John Shea has experience as a true freshman. A few years ago, he punted 11 times here at Beaver Stadium against the Nittany Lions. Ingram. Out across the 45 to almost the 47-yard line. Frank Carter again made the stop of the play. 46-yard punt that time. Got another penalty marker down on the field. And this one closer to where the play ended, near the 43-yard line is where the flag is. And the play ended at about the 46. And again, the officials confer. Things starting to get sloppy here in the second quarter. Personal foul against Penn State. And this will back up the Nittany Lions.
That had to happen on the bottom of the pile. There was nothing that was obvious to us during the play.
Dead ball, personal foul, receiving team. 15 yards from the spot, first down.
I'll tell you what, John Smith has been on the air more than you have, Randy. He's going to get a credit at the end of this game. 11:16 to go in this first half, and Penn State leading 24-0. Nittany Lions came in, what, about a 33-point favorite in this game. Time now to take a look at our John Hancock out-of-town scores. Brought to you by John Hancock, official worldwide sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Games. Timeout on the field here at Beaver Stadium. 11:16 to go for the half, and Penn State leading 24-0. We'll be back after these words.
When you were 21,
Yeah.
we drank a toast to it.
Yeah.
We did do that. When you were 30,
Yeah.
I can't read this. You could boast of it. Now you're 40. Look at there. See? So make the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that clever?
Fly me to the moon.
In a year, there are 10 vacation days. There are 12 holidays, 52 Saturdays, and 52 Sundays. In all, it adds up to over 4 months a year of freedom. Don't you have someplace to go? Bravo, because life won't wait. Use the Bravo card where you see the Nova sign.
Former Wisconsin quarterback Randy Wright. Penn State on top of Temple, 24-0. We are second quarter. And the Nittany Lions started their 32-yard line off the penalty. Got a screen at the top of your screen. Got a, I should say, a split tandem of receivers at the top of your screen. That's Archie in motion. Richardson lots of time. Now he's hit as he throws. A wounded duck. Ingram coming back for it. Can't hang on. Nearly a spectacular catch by Ingram at the 42-yard line.
Nice pressure put on by Temple that time. Man-to-man coverage. Defensive backs are running with their receivers. You throw the ball up there. There's nobody in the middle of the field to come over and catch it. Fortunately for Richardson, throws the ball way to the left. Ingram was on a deep pass. Nobody over there. Very lucky to get that ball back.
Tim Terry made the hit on the quarterback, the defensive end, a junior out of Hempstead, New York. Richardson at 2nd and 10. This is Mike Archie. Right away, Scott Oster, a true freshman out of Philadelphia, made the stop. He's 6'3" and 325. His nickname is Cornhusker. The coaches call him Cornhusker, Randy, because they say this is the kind of kid that would go to Nebraska. They would redshirt him as a true freshman. He'd come back at 350 and become an All-American.
And he'd get a job for 2 years in between. Then he'd start school when he's 20 years old. Penn State did a nice thing that play. They split the field with their wideouts, put 2 of them on each side. Last time they did that, they saw where Temple took their linebackers, split them out. There was nobody in the middle of the field. What they tried to do then was just run a quick-hitting trap play to Archie, try and bust through the line of scrimmage, but nobody there to make the stop. Oster that time saved the day for Temple, making the stop right at the line.
Marco Rivera shaken up on the play for Penn State, so he'll take a play off at least. Ryan Fagan moves into the guard spot in place of Rivera on the strong side of the formation. Third down for Penn State. Freddie Scott has the first down. Underneath the coverage of Alan Jackson.
Richardson did a nice job of standing in the pocket again. Good pressure that time by a couple of defensive linemen from Temple. Oyster's in there again. He comes back, not a real deep drop as he goes back only 5 steps. If you're going to go 5 steps, you better throw the ball right when you hit that 5th step, because your linemen think timing, 5 steps, he's only 6 yards, he's getting rid of it quick. If you hold it, you're going to get pressure.
Juravicius is the receiver to the bottom of your screen. Archie still a tailback. Whitman the fullback. Mike Archie. For about 8 yards to the 49 of Temple. Lance Johnstone, the tackle for the Owls.
I think the offensive line here, Wayne, is really starting to do a nice job of opening up the holes, giving Archie the line of scrimmage. He comes through, excellent blocking by that entire left side of the Penn State line. They just moved that right side of Temple's defensive line completely out of the way. Even you or I could have run through that one. You could have run. I would have walked. You could have run through.
This is Whitman, and he bangs close to the first down at about the 47-yard line. Mid portion of the Temple defense was there.
You know, I think we've seen Penn State open the game running the ball. They wanted to wear down that defensive line. I think they've been successful in doing that. Then they went through a couple of series where they really wanted to give Richardson, in my opinion, some experience throwing the ball downfield. They didn't have to throw it. The running game was working, but they gave him some looks, some feel for being in the pocket with a live rush. Performed very, very well. Now, a couple of different backs that we've seen in there. Whitman and Archie are back in there. Back to the running game again. Really are being able to do basically anything they want.
That's a first down for Penn State, half the length of the football. 11 first downs for Penn State, none for Temple here this first half. Joe Paterno in his 30th year as head coach, 46th year on the coaching staff here at Penn State.
Told us a funny story yesterday about Kajana Carter. He said they had to come up with different schemes on how to block defensive fronts. And if they ever couldn't block the linebacker, Joe would say, "Ah, Carter will get him. Don't worry about blocking that guy."
And Carter got him more often than not. The fake reverse to Ingram. Richardson over the top. Freddie Scott. Intercepted. Spectacular interception by Alan Jackson in the end zone.
Nice play by Jackson that time. Richardson did a nice job of ball handling. Just a one receiver route. Freddie Scott is the only man that's out there. Did a beautiful job of recovering. Here's the first fake. There, the second fake doesn't really freeze the defensive backs, and Richardson holds onto the ball. He's got Scott behind him, underthrows the ball a little bit. That allows Jackson the time to come back there. If you're Freddie Scott, you've got to slow down right here and keep your body between the ball and the defenders. If he slows down, they have to run up his back, therefore he draws the interference.
Temple has spent 3 plays and out on all of their offensive possessions thus far. Tough shoestring catch right there for the fullback Corey Green. And I'm sure Henry Burris would be the first to tell you, I've got to lead my back a little bit better than that.
Well, especially when it's only a 5 or 6 yard pass. He had good protection for the most part, little leakage, but he had enough time to get the ball out there to Green and just didn't throw a nice pass.
Talking to Henry Burris this week, he says, you know, we're really looking forward to going up there and playing at Penn State. This is a true measuring stick of where we are as a program. So far, they haven't made the measurement. On a delay, boy, I tell you, anything with a delay attached to it has been eaten alive by this Penn State defense. Killens and Noble, the 2 inside tackles are there. Killens at defensive end.
Well, draws only work if you get good protection up front and you let the outside guys come. When you get early penetration by Scioli and Noble, there's no place for the back to go, and he's got no momentum going with him in order to make a move. You've got to have solid protection, at least up front. The outside guys you want to run by when you're trying to run a draw.
It's now 3rd down and 15 for Temple. They have not converted a first down yet. Collins all over Burris. intercepted by Nelson. Penn State football near the 16 of Temple.
And Henry Burris has enough experience to know you don't do that. When you're down 24 points and you're trying to create something, he's their playmaker. Instinctively, you try and make a play. He had no chance of throwing that. Maybe he was just trying to throw it away. As you can see, Collins in here got him. Whether he was trying just to throw the ball out of bounds or just try to throw it down, you can't throw the ball up for grabs.
Aaron Collins blitzing from his outside linebacker spot.
You know, one thing, Wayne, that I was always taught, when you feel you're trying to throw the ball away, if you throw the ball to the right, the referee is the one that always calls intentional grounding. He's always looking at the quarterback to make sure the quarterback doesn't have, isn't hit late or illegally. If you're going to throw it away, throw it to the right. Referee can't see that.
Nelson shaken up on the play, the man who made the interception. And again, I think when you take a look at this first half for Temple, the one thing that stands out, it appears to be a loss of poise at this juncture in this first half.
I agree with you. I think they expected Penn State to be basic on defense, not do a lot of blitzing, not do a lot of stunning, and let Burris make his plays, but don't give up the big plays. We've seen just the opposite. Penn State has come out, they've been aggressive, they've blitzed, they've slanted, they've done a lot of different things, really taking Temple out of any kind of rhythm offensively.
Everly knifing through. Pick up about 4 or 5.
Talk about
Alshamad Singleton made the stop, along with Willie Brown.
Talked about Chris Everly earlier. Just 3 weeks ago, he was a defensive back. They moved him over because they thought he was too good an athlete not to play, and they were so banged up at the tailback position. This is good experience if Joe's got enough confidence in him to give him the ball down at the plus 20-yard line.
Milne and Everly for the eye behind Richardson. Second down, Penn State. Everly again. Not a whole lot there. Vince Pellis made the stop for Temple. Gain of 2 to the 10, where it'll be 3rd down and 3.
It gets tougher to run inside the closer you get to the goal line because your linebackers take a couple steps up to the line. Your defensive backs take a couple steps closer because they don't have as far to run backwards because of the end zone. A little tougher to run inside up here.
Penn State, despite leading 24-0, 2 of 5 on 3rd downs. You'd think it'd be much better than that. Fact is, they've converted some second downs into touchdowns.
I'm surprised they've had 5 third downs.
They load up on the line. Everly. First and goal, Penn State. Inside the 4 of Temple.
Well, we just talk about it being tougher to run inside because your linebackers and your defensive backs step up. This time, they run to the outside. Milne does a nice job of blowing out the outside contain. There's no cornerback up there. Everly sees nothing but grass in front of him until he gets down to the 4-yard line. Everly, a small school product out of Beverly, New Jersey. Surprised they're giving him the ball down here with no experience. No, of course, 24-0 helps.
24-0, no. Not surprised. That's Jason Slode on the wing there. The fullback moves in motion. Everly tried to follow the block of his All-America guard, Jeff Hardings. Jason Davis denied him the end zone. This is the formation we saw some last week where Joe wants to put both fullbacks, Whitman and Milne, in the backfield. One's a little better blocker. Milne has really been the blocker for Whitman. That time they switched it around. They let Whitman block for Milne. The big boy backfield. Whitman just short of the goal line. He got hit early on that play. T. Lang Lloyd and Ted McDuffie on the stop for Temple. This much maligned defensive line for Temple making a little statement right here. It's hard to dig down and find that pride when you're down 24-0 and you've been run over like you have been by Penn State. Temple's making a little bit of a gut check right here. Once again, 3rd down at the 1. Whitman. He didn't make it. Robert McWilliams, among others, on the stop.
Whitman again tacking the outside. This time, though, running to the left over Johnson and Rivera. Milne comes to the inside and gets this block, but Brown jumps over the pile, has enough momentum. You watch Brown coming in from your left side here. He comes up, knocks him back.
Willie Brown made a big-time play right there. 4th down and goal to go, Penn State. Milne, touchdown.
Well, I think that's where your offensive line gets in the huddle.
Penalty markers down.
Excess celebration, maybe?
Could be.
I think this, what happens, your Penn State, your offensive line gets in the huddle. We've been stopped 3 plays in a row. This is up to us to get this last yard, and they just fired off the line of scrimmage and gave Milne plenty of room to run through. Just pride in your offensive line and having a little bit better ability.
Personal foul, Penn State. The touchdown is good, and I would imagine they'd assess this on the opening kickoff, the next kickoff. It is the celebration rule.
After the score, we have dead ball, personal foul, scoring team. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Apparently, Milne, in the form of celebration, threw the football at one of his tacklers on the play. Spiked the football.
That won't go over very well.
No, that doesn't register very positively with the men in stripes. Conway for the point after, and Penn State leads 31-0 with 4:36 to go in this first half. Well, it took them 4 tries to get it into the end zone. So perhaps, as you mentioned, Randy Wright, a statement there by the much maligned Temple defense, but in the end, Penn State had too many horses.
Temple students are extremely well motivated.
I'm an engineering major.
I'm a business major.
I'm a journalism major.
I've learned so much. Professors know their stuff.
It's top-notch faculty. There's so many new people here. I'm from Chicago.
I'm from California.
I'm from Colombia, South America.
I studied in London for a semester. I'll be teaching at our campus in Tokyo.
It's a place where you can grow.
There are new buildings through the Commonwealth Challenge Plus.
I've met the Temple Challenge.
It's the best decision I ever made.
Introducing Mellon PSFS Special CDs. Take advantage of these great rates on our special 9-month and special 15-month CDs. Stop by any Mellon PSFS office to open your CD. Or give us a call 7 days a week at 1-800-MELLON-2.
On September 18th, get ready for the ride of your life.
Just another day in the Outback.
Hogan Outback, coming to Subaru dealers everywhere.
I don't want to go through another year like that. Disrespect that you get with losing. I got to get them to understand who we are. We're going to be an up-tempo team. We're going to run. I don't get racehorses to then slow them down. We're going to like us this year. No obstacles. Just get the job done. We got to get the job done. We don't want the Niners to be, no, oh, man, the Sixers are awful in the Niners. We want to say, hey, Sixers came back in the Niners.
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright at Beaver Stadium, University Park, State College, Pennsylvania. Penn State leading big here. And Creative Sports presents college football next week. Couple of big games. Minnesota takes on Syracuse up in the Carrier Dome. And some of you will see the Miami Hurricanes, the 19th ranked team in the nation, against the Virginia Tech Hokies. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Penn State will kick off from the 20-yard line due to the celebration penalty, 15-yard penalty, assessed against the man who scored the touchdown at the goal line, Brian Milne. Dropping back deep, and Temple hoping to get good position here. Davis on one side, Walker at the top of your screen. Take a look at the short scoring drive by Penn State.
7 runs, 0 passes. 4 of them coming inside the 5-yard line as they got down there. Got some good yardage early. Tougher to come by towards the end of that drive.
Strong kick again by Conway. It is allowed to hit by Walker. Now he picks up. Walker nowhere to go. And Temple only gets it out to the 20-yard line. Well, the Nittany Lions would take that all day. Curtis Ennis, a linebacker, true freshman, in on the stop for Penn State.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Another mental mistake on Temple's part that time. Walker, not realizing that he was still quite a distance from the sideline, thought that ball was going to bounce out of bounds, as it did the previous time. Let it bounces on the field. Penn State gets plenty of time to come down there and cover.
Well, it's incumbent upon Henry Burris to settle down his team and to get something going here against this Penn State defense. Temple yet to make a first down. They set up a screen, and they did not account for one tackler. Corey Carlson, the linebacker, made a big hit in the flat on the running back Juan Gaddy.
Burris does a nice job setting this screen up initially. He lets the entire rush come back to him. Now there's good separation between himself and Gaddy, but your offensive line has to pick up Carlson. They're the guys that are looking downfield. Gaddy's looking into the backfield. He can't see where Carlson is. Somebody in the offensive line has to block him. Could have been at least a decent play. He was the only Penn State tackler out in that area.
2nd and 11. Troy Kersey for the first Temple first down of the afternoon.
One of the few plays, Wayne, we've seen Penn State stay in a basic defense. 4 linemen, that was all they rushed, dropped back into the zone, no stunts, nothing up front. That time Burris had plenty of time to sit back there. He comes back to the offensive lineman, used to seeing stunts and blitzes. This is like a break to them. Nothing new going on. Burris sits back there, throws a bullet right to Kersey.
Gain of 12 to the 31. Davis, the lone back. Well executed play up front. Davis, plenty of running room, and he apparently has a first down on a gain of 11. Gerald Filardi made the stop for Penn State.
One of the reasons we talked earlier, draws don't work with early penetration. This time Davis goes back, sits there, gets the handoff from Burris. Burris goes back, gets the handoff from Davis. No early penetration. You let that draw develop. He has plenty of time to see where the holes are. Makes a good play out of it.
First down from the 42. Henry Burris, the short drop. Good athlete. Burris has a first down and more. And this is one of the things Penn State feared from Burris, is the fact that he can make something out of nothing, and he did just that. Chino Prater made the stop after a 26-yard gain, and as you know, Henry Burris has been a very productive runner when he's been flushed.
Well, he's got a good rushing average. We just saw 5.4 yards. When you drop back 3 steps and you don't throw the ball, you better be ready to run, because your protection is going to break down. Penn State in man-to-man coverage, you've got nobody designed to cover the quarterback. As Burris broke through the line of scrimmage, all of his receivers were running off to the right. There was nobody on the left side.
Blue, first of the game.
A sideline warning?
Sideline warning to Penn State. And Joe Paterno now get his kids in order.
Getting them back off of the field. You get too close to the field there, referees can't run up and down.
It is a first down, and maybe they had trouble getting the chains in place as well. First down from the 33-yard line of Penn State. This is the first time Temple has penetrated into enemy territory here this afternoon. Penn State leading 31-0, and you see how they're trying to get the chains put into place.
I think all those players are back far enough now. They're not going to cross over that line.
Burris steps up against the pressure. Davis, nice catch. Down to the 5-yard line. Fine play between the quarterback Henry Burris and Danny Davis, the little halfback out of the backfield.
When you come with a blitz, as Penn State's going to do right now, they bring the guys from the outside. Nobody's really accounting for the back. Davis slips out right here. Nobody is over there other than covering the other two receivers that are there. Davis makes a nice run after the catch, too. Did a nice job to find the open area. First did a nice job picking him up.
28-yard pass play. And let's see, the officials again stop the clock with 2:16 to go in this first half. And a timeout on the field.
Timeout is charged Penn State.
So the Lions want to reset things defensively, perhaps, Randy?
Well, I think you've seen them stay basic early in this drive. And Temple, for the first time today, got into a little bit of a rhythm. When you get into positive territory on the plus side of the 50-yard line and a team's been moving, a defense is going to adjust. They're going to come at you. They're going to blitz. They're going to change their fronts. They're going to do things to try and take you out of that rhythm. They tried to do that right there with that blitz that they had, but Burst did a nice job escaping the sack and finding Davis for a big gain. Did a good job handling that pressure. They haven't done that yet. It's when Penn State has switched up and gone to those blitzes that have really worked effectively against Temple. That time Temple handled it very well.
Temple, before this drive, had no first downs. They have 4 on this drive.
And I'm sure they'll have 4 downs to try and get it in here.
Temple now 65 yards. Penn State 191 yards of offense here in this first half.
Burst settling down a little bit. Started off a little rough. Completed several passes lately, 7 for 13.
And the offensive line has done a much better job of opening holes for the running backs on this drive and protecting Burris, or at least giving him a lane to run. First and goal of the Penn State 6. That's Kersey in motion. Gaddy, not a whole lot there. Barely a yard to the 5. Brad Scioli made the stop.
Generally, draws won't work the closer you get to the line of scrimmage, because what you need when you run a draw is you need the linebackers to drop out. You can watch Nelson right here. He doesn't go anywhere. He stands right there. Scioli comes off. Collins comes over. If you're going to run a draw, you've got to let those linebackers drop way out. When you're on the 5-yard line, they can't drop very far.
Brad Scioli, sophomore. Second down. Oh, and he drilled it to Baxter. There's a penalty marker down. I didn't see any indication. Now the indication for touchdown.
What a shot thrown by Burris. Perfect pass.
Take a look at it. This pass was well thrown and some tight coverage. The touchdown.
Prater had very good coverage, but Burris drops back, throws the ball on a rope, the only place it can, hits Baxter right in the gut. Prater really had pretty good coverage, and it was such a quick hitting play. Prater's not even looking into the backfield.
Prater has such good coverage, he got called for pass interference.
Defensive pass interference, touchdown. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Zane Mikulski for the point after.
That'll pump a little life into the Temple Owls.
Randy, it was very important for Temple to get something going on that particular drive, and they take it all the way downfield for the score. Mikulski drills the extra point. Temple on the board, trailing 31-7. Under 2 minutes to go in this first half.
Ray Mikulski's extra point is good. A
7 plays, 80 yards for the Temple Owls.
You see Burris drop back here. He's only going to one receiver. Hits that 5th step, gives Baxter just enough time to get in the end zone and turn around, and doesn't give Prater enough time to adjust to both Baxter in front of him and enough time to look into the backfield and see Burris throwing the ball. The only place the ball could be thrown. Wonderful pass by Burris that time.
So the Owls finally have something to cheer about. Penn State, though, leading 31-7.
Burris has to be over on his sideline congratulating those offensive linemen. They provided pretty good protection that drive.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, when Temple got across the Penn State 35, the Lions started bringing a blitz here or there and trying to disrupt the drive, but the Owls hung in there well, executed very well on that drive. Here's a look at it. Took just 3 minutes. Baxter on the touchdown reception.
And we saw something we hadn't seen yet. Temple making some big plays. They had a couple of long runs, the real long run by Burris. They had the nice throw to Davis that got him down there. They had the key first second down play where they converted it for their first first down of the day on the pass to Kersey. Maybe now Burris will have a little more confidence in his offensive line, be able to stand in that pocket, and they'll respond by giving him that kind of protection, because he's going to have to be productive in this second half to bring them back with any kind of scoring barrage.
Campbell dropping back deep along with Curtis Ennis on the play to receive this kickoff. See if Temple tries an onside kick here. Why not? With 1:36 to go in this first half, and Penn State leading 31-7.
Talk about Curtis Enos being back in return formation. He's listed as a linebacker.
Yeah.
He's listed as a running back. In fact, we may see him later at a tailback position.
Well, you know, he ran for over 5,000 yards and scored 71 touchdowns in high school. From Union City, Ohio.
How good do your running backs have to be if you get somebody like that and you put them on defense?
Exactly. Those running backs that are ahead of them have to be pretty darn good. And they are. Mikulski kicks it away. And this one sails through the end zone. Penn State gets it to the 20-yard line. Would have been an interesting call for an onside kick, because you're already kicking from the 50-yard line. If they recover it on their 40, maybe the 38-yard line, you know, you're not in that much a delicate situation. Whereas if you're trying to kick from your 40-yard line or whatever, or your 35 in this case on a typical kickoff, then the onside kick might be recovered at the Temple 45.
Oh, I agree. Certainly would not have been any worse field position or any better than what Penn State has. I think Temple has a little bit of confidence. They made a decent stand for a couple plays down on the goal line. Defense maybe has a little confidence. Even though they did give up the touchdown, it was probably their starchest stand. And then offensively, they come right down the field and score. I think they want to try and back Penn State up here as much as they could.
Archie back into the tailback spot. Made a couple of people miss. Penalty marker is down. Willie Brown makes the tackle near the 26.
This is maybe what you hope for if you are Temple. You kick off deep, you give them the ball on the 20-yard line. Now they get a holding penalty on that run, and that's going to back them up a little bit farther. Worst field position Penn State has had.
For Joe Paterno's team, which jumped out in front by the score of 31-0 in this ball game, how hard is it, Randy, to keep your edge, your concentration, the same fire you brought to the game early?
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty is assessed from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
I think it is difficult, Wayne, because you play much more relaxed, which is a positive, but you don't concentrate as much because you know the game isn't relying on this play or that play. You have to be careful that when you're out there, you keep that concentration up, because that's generally when injuries happen.
First down and long. Mike Archie again. Out to about the 17-yard line, where it'll be second down and about 13 yards to go. Keith Karen made the stop along with Lance Johnstone.
Temple trying to call a timeout here.
The Owls want another crack at it here in this first half. Just 62 seconds remaining.
I don't think we'll see Penn State do anything risky right here. I think we'll see them be content to try and chew up as many yards as they can on the ground, not do anything foolish that would give Temple a quick touchdown or a quick opportunity to get some more points on the board.
Temple has one timeout remaining here in this first half.
Virginia Tech nothing. In the second quarter, Indiana 10, Kentucky 7.
Don't forget, during the halftime, we'll be heading back to our Big Ten studio with Mike Gleason. Get an update on the scores and highlights of all the games around the country.
Iowa State nothing.
And we'll, of course, have all the highlights and stats from here in Happy Valley.
One thing you talked about, Wayne, with how tough is it to get your players up. I think we'll probably see, especially this being a non-conference game, see a lot of the backup players in there trying to get some valuable experience, trying to get them some playing time, because as the season goes on, those players are going to have to step in and perform. So I think those players will be able to keep that concentration up, be able to perform for you.
Penn State football on a second down and about 13 yards to go. Football to the 17-yard line. Nittany Lion territory. Whitman the fullback, Archie the tailback. Mike Archie hit in the backfield, and down he goes. Excellent play by Tim Terry, the defensive end. He came across to make the hit on the play, and that's a loss of about 3 yards.
Just a great play by Terry that time. They're running away from him. There's no seal-off block. He comes underneath.
Temple has used a third time.
He comes underneath the flow of Penn State linebackers, or Penn State offensive linemen, and nobody blocks him. Nobody picks him up at all. Gets into that backfield, make a sack for negative yardage. Or tackle, not a sack, but still negative yardage play.
Third down now for Penn State, and about 16 yards to go. Ron Dickerson, I think you're right, Randy. His team on the last Penn State score forced the Nittany Lions in a short yardage goal-to-go situation inside the 5-yard line. It took the Lions 4 cracks to get it over, and they finally did on a 1-yard run by Brian Milne. But that may have sent a message in this ball game that Temple, despite being erratic in this first half and maybe losing its poise at one point, was not going to go away quietly. And then on the next drive, Temple took over and motored for its first score of the game.
Well, that was the first thing Temple had done as a unit that they could really be proud of. They actually stopped them on 3 of those 4 plays deep inside their own territory.
Well, I think she's enjoying this game. If not the game, certainly the refreshments. Third down for Penn State. Scott in motion. Archie on a sweep. Short of the first down. Robert McWilliams through the convoy of blockers to make the stop, but there is a flag down on the play.
I think we're going to have another holding penalty, which is going to continue to march Penn State backwards. That's the second time in this drive where they picked up excellent yardage on first down and have to move backwards.
I wonder if Temple would turn this down. 48 seconds to go. It would be 4th down for Penn State.
They've got no timeouts left.
Offense. The 10-yard penalty is assessed from the spot of the foul. Replay third down.
Obviously, they will take the penalty because it would back Penn State all the way back to the 1-yard line. But, you know, I was thinking in terms of a time situation, Randy, in that you allow Penn State to run another play. You can't stop the clock.
I agree, and they're hoping maybe to get in a position where they can block the punt. They do have 1 blocked punt already. They hold them here. They're at least going to have to punt the ball on 4th down, maybe hoping to go after the blocked punt.
The official first placed the ball down to the 1. He's got it now at the 6-yard line. Third down and a whole bunch. Mike Archie getting a workout here and not going very far. Good penetration by T. Lang Lloyd on the stop.
No surprise that Penn State kept the ball on the ground. Richardson did a nice job of letting that 25-second clock run down below the game clock so they wouldn't have to run another play right now. I agree with you. I think they should have not taken that penalty, forced Penn State to kick.
Forced a punt, maybe gotten 1 more play off after that. First half comes to a close here in Happy Valley. The end of the first half, the score, Penn State 31, Temple 7. We'll be back to Beaver Stadium after these messages. Temple trailing Penn State 31-7. We are at halftime at Beaver Stadium, University Park in State College, Pennsylvania. Well, if you're the Temple Owls and you're Ron Dickerson, the head coach of the Owls, what are you saying to your team at halftime? And what do you as a quarterback, if you're Henry Burris, have to do in this second half? What are you looking for?
Well, I think if you're Ron Dickerson, you're telling your team, we finished a lot better than we started that half. We got into a little bit of a rhythm. We offensively finally put something together and came down, and that's what we have to build on. We probably, realistically, are we going to come back 31-7 and win this game? Maybe, maybe not. But they have a lot of games to play, and they need to get into a rhythm offensively and make sure that Penn State hasn't shaken their confidence. Burris, he's got to still do what he did. He's got to continue to play. He's got to continue to make some plays, put his team in a position to take advantage of that.
All right, again, our halftime score. Penn State 31, Temple 7. Stay tuned. We'll be heading back to Mike Gleason in the studio following these messages. Temple at halftime, 31, 7. And hi again, everybody. Wayne Larrabee along with Randy Wright. Randy, let's take a look at the highlights of that first half of play. Penn State came out very sharp. This their opening drive. And take a look at Mike Archie. Good move here.
Just a great physical play by Archie. Penn State moves the ball on the ground. Archie finishes it off, gets him onto the board. Great physical move to fake out Jackson.
Well, Richardson came out sharp at quarterback. This is a nice throw right here off play action.
This one's set up by the running game. Play action pass. Whitman, who's been a blocker, slips into the flat, wide open.
Penn State led 17-0 at the end of the first quarter of play, and then Richardson, a little deeper pattern.
Drops back, plenty of protection. Ingram runs a beautiful route, turns Epps around, wide open in the end zone. Nice throw by Richardson.
Penn State's last touchdown required some hard work. 4 shots inside the 5, but Milne got it done.
This was just a pride touchdown. Temple had shut them down. Their offensive line gets together and just shuts it, pushes them right off the ball, gets Milne into the end zone.
Late in the first half, Temple reaches the board.
The bright spot for Temple. What a great throw that time by Burris, dropping back. Plenty of time to throw the ball. Receiver runs a great route, puts the ball right on the money. That's exactly what they needed to do. Try and develop some kind of momentum to finish off that first half.
Take a look at the numbers in the first half. The yardage number jumps out at you. It shows the dominance in this ball game by Penn State. Time of possession is misleading. Penn State scored on some short drives, and they scored quickly for the most part in the first half of play, except for their last touchdown drive. Penn State will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. Zane Mikulski getting ready to boot it away. Twin safeties back deep for Penn State. Campbell on the bottom of your screen there. And at the top, of course, was the linebacker slash running back, Curtis Enos. This is Campbell. He had quite a wedge to follow. Aaron Patterson came from behind to make the hit. First down for Penn State. Football across their 25 of the 27-yard line. Penn State enjoyed excellent field position to start its drives in the first half, Randy, and this is one of the deeper starts for the Nittany Lions, and they're back in deep in their own territory.
Once they took advantage of that field position in the first half, it didn't matter as the half wore on where they took over. They'd already done the damage.
Milne and Everly, the running back tandem. Richardson, slant pattern. Ingram to the 40 for a first down on a gain of 12. McDuffie made the stop.
Penn State showing no signs of going conservative at halftime. Come out with a little play action. Richardson does a real nice job spinning himself around and throwing. We see Ingram, who's already had some success today, building on last year's stats. We talked about the 1,000-yard receiver, the first one ever for Penn State last year.
Ingram last week, 7 catches, 106 yards, all in the second half. Everly fumbled the football, and let's see who's got it. I believe the Nittany Lions got it back. Everly following his blocking all the way inside the 45 of Temple. It will be Penn State ball. 18-yard gain.
Nice run by Everly. We get a chance to see him break through, shows his acceleration. Just a wide pitch, comes through. Good blocking by Olsemer, you see. Everly puts on a nice move on McDuffie. When he runs into traffic, down, doesn't tuck the ball away. Fortunate for Penn State. Good run. Got to hold on to the ball.
Everly got the ball back himself. Freddie Scott in motion on first down. Everly again following Marco Rivera this time to the 38-yard line of Temple. Singleton on the stop along with Willie Brown. And there's a look at Brown, transferred to Temple for his final year of eligibility from Alabama. He was on a team at Alabama that won a national championship. His Alabama teams in his first 3 years won 33 games. Temple has won 32 games in its last 10 years of football. Amazing. Second down. Richardson. Milne, the big guy, for a first down to the 31. McDuffie made the stop. Just to finish up a little bit on Willie Brown, Randy, There's a situation where a guy comes into a program, and Willie Brown made a nice impact on this program. He brings with him a national championship ring, and believe me, the players down on the field, they realize what it's all about. And he had to shake some people up, he was saying, that to get them on track. Hey, this is what you've got to do to be a national program, to be a big time.
He brings that winning attitude that some of these players at Temple haven't had before.
Eberle, a good job of keeping his feet, and he's close to the first down. McWilliams got up late on that play. He and Johnstone on the stop.
Eberle does a nice job. He's got a huge hole to run through. Milne does a nice job blocking right there. Eberle does a good job keeping his feet. What I liked about Eberle on that run was where he saw the hole open up, he turned and accelerated through it. He didn't try and stretch it to the outside, try and make something that maybe wasn't there. He saw the hole. He really, Wayne, looks like he's got the acceleration to get through that hole quickly.
You know, at Penn State here, and they're short of the first down, when they say we're a little thin, they're not thin in the talent department. They may be a little thin in some spots in experience, but that's about it.
They're thin by Penn State standards.
Yeah, I
that
guess
is
you're right.
Not necessarily NCAA standards. Or even Big Ten standards.
There are a lot of schools that would like to have Chris Eberle. There are a lot of schools that would like to figure out if number 39, Curtis Enos, is a linebacker or a running back, because he can be pretty good at either spot.
It may depend on the situation.
Second and short for Richardson. Milne. And he's got the first down to the 19-yard line of Temple. Early going third quarter here at Beaver Stadium.
I think we're going to see Penn State try and get the ball, as we've talked so far, to the players who they really need to see how they're going to react under pressure. Eberle is a guy that's going to have to help them until they get some of their other tailbacks healthy and back on the team. They're going to have to count on him as the season goes on. They're going to try and give him the ball in some pressure situations, and this is as good as any.
Eberle again. Got by Lloyd and picks up about 2 or 3 yards on the play. T-Lang Lloyd got a piece of him in the backfield to slow him up.
Pellis had a chance to get in there too and get a tackle, even though he didn't get credited with a tackle. Did a nice job of tangling him up, taking him off of his rhythm. As you can see, Eberle now comes through. Pellis just enough of a contact to throw him off of his rhythm, allow the rest of the team to get there and make the tackle.
Second down for Penn State. Good play action fake. Richardson naked bootleg. First and goal at the Temple 4.
Nice play by Richardson on the bootleg, seeing nobody was open and having plenty of room to run the ball. Wisely decided to run it, pick up the yardage he would have gotten rather than forcing a pass. Watch this block by Olsemer. When Olsemer, coming across as your tight end, sees that Richardson decides to run, he peels right back off. That was a nice block that time on Brown. Almost a clip.
14-yard gain on the play, and Penn State again at the doorstep of the Temple Owls. The big boy backfield. Milne and Whitman slowed on the wing. They're slowed in motion. Again, the fake on play action. Richardson wide open in the end zone. Stevenson for the touchdown.
Similar to the play Penn State ran last week to get on the board against Texas Tech. Little play action down on the goal line. They've been running the ball very well. Those linebackers step up, just trying to slip a tight end right out there. Stevenson did a nice job finding the open area and then throttling down, not running himself into coverage, because he also had Olsemer over there in the corner.
Bob Stevenson, a sophomore from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, was one of the standouts this spring at the spring drills for Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions.
Now you get the feeling, Wayne, it doesn't matter who's playing at those positions. They just continue to produce.
Kind of the reload theory, you're thinking, right? Conway on the point after. 38-7 Penn State.
Richardson doing a nice job right after the fake, turning and getting his head around. As his man in the corner, Olsemer is covered, comes right off of him, finds Stevenson wide open.
So the Nittany Lions continue impressive in this, their second ball game of the season, leading 38-7.
Once upon a time, there was 3 bears.
Right.
The daddy one, the mommy one, and the baby's one. And then Goldilocks found some porridge.
Right.
The daddy one was too hot. The baby one was just white. And it, don't move your lips, Daddy.
Okay.
And then Goldilocks woke up and, uh-oh, the end.
The heat is on. During the Mercury Clearance Countdown, your Lincoln Mercury dealers are committed to doing whatever it takes, turning up the heat to beat any competitor's deal. Mercury Sable starts with over $3,200 in savings, including $2,000 cash back and more than $1,200 in option package savings. Then, your Lincoln Mercury dealer adds huge dealer discounts for unbelievable year-end savings. The selection's great, but not for long, because at your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Penn State leading Temple big here early in the 3rd quarter. The Owls getting set to receive a kickoff from the Nittany Lions. Penn State scoring drive to open the 2nd half. Very impressive.
They opened up that drive with a little quick-hitting slant to Ingram, almost to set the tone, to keep Temple saying, hey, we're not going to come out and just run the ball. We're going to let you know we're willing to throw it also. Other than that, it's a lot of runs.
Brett Conway getting set to restart the game. Davis on the right side of your screen as you look at it, and Walker on the left, back deep. Overcast, kind of cool afternoon here at Penn State. Conway hit the back pylon of the end zone. That's a pretty good shot.
Pretty accurate. The old unreturnable.
Yes, indeed. So it'll be first down for Temple at the 20-yard line.
How can he do it if he's aiming for it?
Yeah, well, exactly. Can he do it if he tries? That's the big question. This is the 6th time that Temple has started at their 20-yard line. It's Van Johnson at the top of your screen. Walker to the bottom. Ramad Lee is the tailback in this offense. That's Green in motion. Burris over the middle to Corey Green. First down just across the 30-yard line and a gain of about 11 yards. Jim Nelson made the stop for Penn State along with Gerald Pilardi.
Burris did a nice job of giving Green time to drop underneath the linebackers. As he drops back, he's looking downfield. He doesn't rush his throw. He takes his time, lets Green come underneath the linebackers across the ball. Even though it doesn't look like a huge gain, turns out to be a first down.
Burris screens it out. Nobody there. Well, Van Johnson was there, but he was underneath the coverage, and a ton of coverage it was in the flat.
Penn State had a good coverage call for that play. They came with a heavy rush, man-to-man coverage. They had Mark Tate standing right out there on Johnson. Good thing for Johnson that Burris threw that ball away because Tate was right there.
2nd and 10 for Burris and company. Unlike last year, Burris has struggled here in this game today. The junior from Spiro, Oklahoma. Quick hitter up the middle. That's Davis on the carry. For short yardage, Todd Atkins made the stop.
Defensively, Penn State looks as though they're not doing as much early as they did in the first half. A lot of stunts, a lot of different blitzes, those kinds of things. They look much more stable, which is what Temple thought they were going to be to start the game.
Lions have been very good defensively on 3rd downs here today. Temple 0 for 7 on 3rd down conversions. 3rd down right here. 3rd and 7. Pressure immediately. Burris trying to make a play. Davis, the intended receiver. It is 4th down for the Temple Owls. Pilardi had the coverage downfield. Terry Killens came right up the gut and rushed the quarterback out of the pocket.
Well, when you can get early pressure like that, when Burris doesn't want to scramble out, Killens comes right up the middle. you eliminate half the field. Burris comes to this side. He realizes there's no way he can go back to the other half, so half of his receivers are gone. Throws his reads. He's totally out of sync. He's just trying to get rid of the ball and avoid the sack.
Bobby Ingram makes the catch, and it'll be first down, Penn State, near the 38-yard line in Nittany Lions territory. 29-yard punt by John Shea. Let's go back to the studio. And Mike Gleason.
Wayne, Northwestern's aerial attack striking again. Steve Schnurr goes up top. This one goes for 38 yards to Dwayne Bates. The second one for Bates on the afternoon. The first one went for 29 yards. Wildcats lead 17-0 in the second. Let's head back to State College, Pennsylvania.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Penn State on the move.
With 39, Curtis Ennis.
Boy, Curtis Enos getting the call there. Robert McWilliams on the stop.
Well, we got the first half of our question answered. Is he going to play linebacker or is he going to play tailback? Again, just a pitch. He does a nice job of setting it up as though he's going to the outside. Once the blocks go outside, he quickly cuts it up, picks up some real positive yardage.
And again, he's only been at linebacker now for the last 3 weeks.
You've got to have a lot of speed to run that kind of play because you have to give the threat you're going outside. If there's no threat you're going outside, they're not going to trail you.
Speed and power, and Enos inside Temple territory.
Basically the same play. This one being a handoff, a little slower to develop because it's a handoff, gives him a little more time to pick his hole. He could have picked 1 of 3 that time because there are huge holes. Again, you got to be impressed with the way some of these younger backs, Everly and Enos, who don't have a lot of experience carrying the ball at this level, are hitting that hole with quick acceleration.
Here he goes again. Enos this time into heavy traffic of the mid portion of the Temple defense. Gain of about 3 yards to the 36. Vince Pellis, the nose tackle, made the stop on the play. He's a freshman from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, a true freshman.
You also have to be comfortable with those backs running the ball in the middle. They know they've got speed, Everly and Enos, but how are they going to handle contact? How are they going to handle the pounding? We're seeing them carried inside. We're also seeing them carried outside.
Everly is the tailback now on 2nd down and 7 for Richardson. Ingram out of bounds with the first down to the 24-yard line.
What a beautiful throw that time by Richardson. Ingram really ran his man off when his defensive back, Jackson, thought he was going deep. Ingram breaks and come back. Richardson here, a little play action, holds the ball as Ingram is waiting to come back. Then he sees them, throws a rope right there to him. Jackson, respecting Ingram's speed, too far off to recover.
Gain of 12. Ingram now 5 catches, 73 yards.
See how long Richardson had to hold that ball back there in the pocket? Plenty of time.
Enos to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown! 24 yards. My goodness. Curtis Enos, the outside linebacker from Union City, Ohio. 71 touchdowns in high school. His first on the major college level.
Your defensive back, Epps, has got to come up and force this play. He's being run off in man-to-man coverage. By the time he realizes that it's the run, Enos is already right on top of him. There was nobody out there to support. Enos had easy running all the way to the corner.
Well, a moment that young man will remember, whether he stays at running back or moves back to linebacker. Conway with the point after. And Penn State has scored on its first 2 possessions of the second half. 9 minutes to go in the third period. The Nittany Lions enjoy a 45-7 lead over the Temple Owls. We'll return to Beaver Stadium at University Park after these messages.
So the Nittany Lions of the Fighting Irish have given us another great college football game. And here are 2 tired generals looking for each other at midfield.
Tough break, Joe. Yeah, I know. The tie's too much. It's nice, but maybe next time something in a crew neck. How'd you think that'd be too casual?
Collect a Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents.
Look, Joe, it's not the end of the world. Next cup, think pastels.
The word is out.
Freeze!
Hackers is an experience you'll never forget.
Never send a boy to do a woman's job.
An extraordinary, stunning spectacle. Highly entertaining, a must-see.
I win, you wear a dress on our date.
And if I win, so do you.
Without a doubt, Hackers is the coolest way to start the fall.
You're not good enough to beat us.
Yeah, maybe I'm not,
but we are.
Hackers, rated PG-13. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
You hear the thunder, the call of the road.
Now hear this. Pontiac's 95 closeout values are loud and clear. Get $1,000 cash back or 5.9% financing on new 95 Grand Ams.
Get on your Pontiac and buy, Pontiac buy.
Or get $1,000 cash back on remaining new full-size Bonnevilles. Limited time offers, so hurry.
Get on your Pontiac.
Closeout time is here.
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright back at Beaver Stadium. Penn State leading 45-7 over Temple. Let's go back to our studio. Mike Gleason with an update on the Iowa State game. Mike?
Wayne, the Hawkeyes have regained the lead on Iowa State. Iowa's Rodney Filer bangs it in from 2 yards out. Hawkeyes go up in the second 12-10, but Iowa has missed both extra points. Wayne?
All right, Mike, that may play a role down the stretch. Iowa missing a couple of extra points in that interstate rivalry. Iowa and Iowa State in Ames, Iowa. Brett Conway kicking off once again. Good leverage into this kick. Walker about 3 yards deep. Kevin Walker. Offended short of the 20-yard line. Kim Herring led the charge. That'll be first down for the Temple Owls.
And number 3, Kim Herring.
There's a look at the Penn State scoring drive again. A very short time of possession on that drive.
Well, when you have so many yards being gained at one time, you don't have to run a lot of plays, and it doesn't take a lot of time.
We're talking with Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator of this Penn State team, asking him about his defense last year. He said one of the problems we had was that we were on the field too much. Our offense scored so quickly. Lee looking for running room. And he found about 4 yards out to the 22. Mark Tate tracked him down.
Lee made all of that on his own. Nothing up the middle. He just breaks to the outside. The contain breaks down for Penn State, thinking maybe Lee was stopped at the initial point of contact. Lee at least made something out of nothing and put his team in a 2nd and 6.
Lee just 9 yards on 7 rushes here this afternoon. After a big day a week ago, 73 yards on 23 carries in Morgantown. 2nd and 6. Henry Burris from behind, hit by Atkins. Well, the official was in the vicinity, but he wasn't eligible to catch that pass.
You're just not supposed to put this much pressure on a quarterback with no blitz.
Spoken like a true quarterback, I might add.
Yeah, good point. But the lineman up front, you see Atkins on the left side coming through there. He is disrupting Burris's rhythm before anything could take place downfield. It's almost a foot race to the pocket. Who's going to get there quicker?
Todd Atkins, the young man out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, has had a good day in the defensive line. 3rd down. Temple 0 for 7 on 3rd down. Burris under pressure. Lamont Lee needed to make 6 or 7 moves to get by the 3 defenders who had him hemmed in, led by Aaron Collins. His brother Jason was also there, and Brad Johnson in on that stop as well.
Rightfully so, Wayne. When Burris drops back to pass, he's got no confidence that he's going to have any protection. He's almost looking to scramble right as he sees it break down, then just tries to find anybody to throw the ball to with an eligible number.
8th punt of the day, and a fair catch made. Penalty marker thrown late. Chuck Penzenik on the fair catch for Penn State. Punt of 25 yards. There's the arbiter and the announcer. Pass, make that interference with the punt return. The fair catch signal had been made by Penzenik. You have to give him room on the return. You've got to give him at least, what, 3 to 5 yards.
Couple of yards.
But 5 yards. Interference with fair catch. Assessment the end of the kick. First down.
What's tough on a play like that is it's such a short punt that your cover team running down expects it to be deeper, and all of a sudden the return man is coming up at you full speed. You can't stop in time.
So Penn State takes over again in Temple territory, the 44-yard line. This is their 4th start of a drive inside enemy territory this afternoon. Freddie Scott's at the top of your screen. Juravicius at the bottom. Richardson, the short drop. Oh, nice fingertip catch by Juravicius, and they say incomplete. Robert McWilliams had the coverage. Juravicius said, hey, I had that on my tips.
Willie Brown did a nice job here for Temple. He recognizes the play early as Richardson turns and makes his play action. Brown turns and runs right there, gets in the passing lane, forces Richardson to throw the ball too far in front. Good recognition by Brown.
And a good call by the Big East officiating crew. He did not have possession when he hit the ground. Boy, but he sold it well, I'll tell you. Enos following his blocking patiently. Penalty markers are down as Enos goes down to the 40-yard line after a gain of 4.
If you were Juravicius and you're playing behind Ingram, you're going to try and sell every opportunity you get because there aren't going to be many of them coming your way.
Holding the call against Penn State. We've had about 3 holding calls on running plays here this afternoon. Joe doesn't agree with that. Not sure he doesn't agree with the call. He just doesn't like the fact his team committed the error.
With why it happened. And that's a very, very veteran offensive line, too. 4 returning starters from last year, all seniors. Barry Tilch, the junior, stepping in there. It's a lot easier to step in as a first-year starter when you've got an All-American, Jeff Hardings, playing to your right guard position.
Holding offense, the 10-yard penalty is assessed from the end of the run, repeat second down.
So Penn State will have it at its 49-yard line. 7 penalties against Penn State. That's something that Joe Paterno will spend some time in the film study tomorrow with the Nittany Lions.
Talk about Hardings. Richardson is not a real vocal leader from the quarterback position. Hardings, Whitman, those are the guys that really provide that leadership that maybe the quarterback doesn't from a vocal jump around aspect.
Play action to Eberle. Richardson on 2nd and long. Juravicius, the reception inside to the 35, and he's got a first down near the 33-yard line. Alan Jackson had the coverage and the stop.
Juravicius, a big receiver, 6'5", 223 pounds, makes for a huge target coming across the middle. When you've got no pressure up front, the linebackers are frozen by the play action. Richardson can stand back there. Juravicius does a nice job coming straight across the middle instead of leaning that upfield.
18-yard gain. Quick hitter up the middle. And the Nittany Lions close to a first down on a gain of about 8 yards. Lance Johnstone made the stop on the play.
22, Robert McWilliams. Second down.
See Brown coming off here, limping a little bit. One of the bright spots of this Temple defense had been the linebackers coming into the game. We spoke about Brown being a transfer from Alabama, and not only did he bring that ability to Temple, but that attitude that is taught from that Alabama program.
Second down and short for Penn State. Juravicius, good move. Smelling end zone, penalty markers are down. Juravicius down inside the 5. Lance Johnstone, touchdown saving tackle.
Well, don't let the penalty take away from the outstanding individual effort that Juravicius made. Just a little screen pass out to the right, just designed to be a quick hit or maybe a 5 or 6 yard gain. He breaks the tackles, keeps his balance, does a nice job of getting the ball down to what would have been around the 4 or 5 yard line.
You saw the clipping call against Penn State. This will back up the play. A little over 6 minutes to go, third period. Penn State leading 45-7. Let's see if we can pick up the infraction. Here's the call.
Going to run, clipping, offense. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay second down.
You see the clip down there by Stevenson. Didn't really have much of an effect. I mean, Juravicius was by him. It's almost if you're going to clip, you got to make it a good solid clip. Really didn't have much of an effect there on McWilliams.
Make the clip count. Make the clip spring the play, right? Is that what you're saying?
If you're going to do it.
Jurevicius wide open in the secondary. McWilliams chased him out. First and goal inside the 10 of the 8-yard line of Temple. 14-yard play.
The speed that these Penn State receivers have has really got this Temple defensive secondary scared of getting beat so deep. They're giving up so much cushion. You're not supposed to be this wide open. Jurevicius, as he makes his break back to the corner, wide open. You're supposed to be able to close quicker when you're that deep into your own end zone. McWilliams has to come up and close quicker.
First and goal to the 8. Eberle working hard down to the 1-yard line. Lance Johnstone again made the stop. He's the all-Big East candidate linebacker for this Temple ball club. Johnstone had 17 tackles opening day at Kansas State. Recovered a fumble last week and had 12 tackles in Morgantown against West Virginia.
Penn State, they just keep coming at you, don't they? Throwing the ball to different receivers, tight ends. You've had a core of running backs carrying the ball, and it really does not make any difference. That offensive line just keeps blowing off the ball.
The officials hold up the play here. Timeout Temple. So the Temple Owls will talk it over. The big boy backfield is in. There is Ron Dickerson. You know, he was telling us last night when he took over this Temple program 3 years ago. He took over a program that was rock bottom in terms of Division 1A football. He had 91 players. He interviewed each one. He looked into each player's eye in his private interview with each player, and he said, "Are you any good?" Seriously, he said, "Are you any good?" 7 of the 91 players had the confidence to say, "Yes, I am, Coach."
And 3 of them lied. You found out that maybe he didn't have 7 good ones.
Well, I'll tell you, that it shows you how far Dickerson has had to go with this program, and he's got a ways to go now. And it's unfortunate that their schedule, the second toughest in Division I football this year, has just 4 home games, and started at Kansas State, went to Morgantown, and then here to Happy Valley. This is what remains of the Temple schedule. They'll have a week off next week, then Bowling Green at home, then on the road to the Carrier Dome, Pittsburgh at home, East Carolina at Miami, and then Boston College, Virginia Tech, and Rutgers to finish it up.
You look at that, Wayne, and even though their team may be improved over the last couple of years, it's tough to say here because Penn State is such a dominant team. There aren't a lot of easy games left on that schedule. It may be hard to show people, yeah, we're improved, but where are the results on the field?
Gary Barnett was in the same situation at Northwestern until 3 weeks ago when they sprung the upset at Notre Dame. Big boy backfield for Penn State. Richardson on 2nd and goal. Milne followed the pack off the right side of the line for the touchdown.
Not much imagination in that play. Milne keeping both hands on the ball, making sure not to fumble, just following his offensive line again. Hardings, Conlon, Tilch. Great explosion by the offensive line. They block everything down. Hardings comes around, clears out the alley.
Hardings and Whitman, and he went right over their backs to the end zone.
You better get out of the way. You got those guys coming over your backs.
Not a bad escort. Got a new kicker in for Penn State. And the kick is up, and it is good by Mark Barninger. Mike Barninger taking over for Brett Conway. Puts his first extra point of the season on the board. Penn State leading big.
In these mountains, you need a tough truck.
Dave Ashley, search and rescue volunteer.
Trails, I tend to make my own. It's one torture test after another. But the people I'm looking for depend on someone to find them. Well, I depend on something too. My Ford F-Series. How do you learn a job like this? Let's just say I drive something tougher than a golf cart on the weekends.
Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough.
You're not attending a rehearsal dinner. Not starting a new job tomorrow. There's no reunion. And you're not meeting his parents. The point is, there is no point. And maybe that's what makes this such a special occasion. because life won't wait. Use the Bravo card where you see the Nova sign.
Three touchdowns in a matter of 6 minutes and 30 seconds here in the outset of the third quarter for Penn State, and the Nittany Lions rolling big 52-7 over Temple.
They say, Wayne, you improve the most between your first and second game, and I think Joe Paterno's evaluation of his team last week versus how it would play this week was very accurate. He thought they'd come out and play very well. He didn't know how good Temple was, but he has a pretty good idea how good he is right now.
We mentioned at the top of the show as Conway kicks it through the end zone that Joe Paterno felt after last week's game that close victory, coming with just 4 seconds left on a field goal by Brett Conway to beat Texas Tech, that would have an impact on his football team and make his team a better football team. He said, hey, listen, he told us last night, he said, we're better today than we were a week ago at this time. Now, does that mean we're going to win tomorrow? I don't know. I think he had a pretty good idea. He'd win.
I think you're right. I think he had a pretty good idea, and they're about to extend this longest winning streak to 19 games.
Henry Burris, the junior quarterback from Spiro, Oklahoma. On first down, play action. Well done. Great catch by Baxter. Fine throw and catch down to the Penn State 46-yard line. Mark Tate, good coverage. He was all over him.
Beautiful throw by Burris that time. Baxter does a nice job back here as we go to Burris, dropping back deeper, hiding the ball, does a good job of throwing the ball well in front of Baxter so that Baxter can continue to run and get away from Tate. That ball's underthrown at all. Tate runs up his back, knocks the ball down. Burris did a nice job giving him plenty of room, letting him run to it.
34-yard pass play. Ramon Lee has had very little running room here this afternoon. Brandon Noble, Anthony Cleary on the stop along with Gerald Filardi. Let's go back to the studios now. Mike Gleason for an update on Indiana, Kentucky.
Hey guys, Kentucky fans on the edge of their seats to check out Billy Jack Haskins. 42 yards, reminiscent of Randy Wright in his Badger days, huh? Kentucky now leading Indiana 14-10. Let's go back to State College, Pennsylvania.
But the only comparison there is we both played Indiana.
Burris. Wide open, Troy Kersey tight-roping the sidelines to the 18-yard line of Penn State. Chino Prater and Kim Herring escorted him to the chalk marks.
There's the Henry Burris that Temple was looking forward to seeing all day today. Penn State's done a nice job of shutting him down. This time as Burris scrambles, sometimes you scramble to buy time, sometimes you scramble just to look where you could get rid of the ball. Burris, this time as he scrambles, keeps his eyes downfield, finds Kersey that does a nice job coming across the field with Burris, knowing Burris can't look all the way back to his left, finds the open area. Nice play that time by Kersey and Burris.
24-yard pass play. First down, Kersey in motion. Temple on the drive. Davis struggling forward. He was met in the hole by blue jerseys, and I'm telling you, they were led by Chris Snyder, a defensive end, getting some action, along with Aaron Collins, the linebacker.
That kind of play, Wayne, it's either open right away or not at all. A very quick-hitting trap play. You're counting on penetration from Penn State's defensive front. If it's not there, you don't have enough time as a lineman to open up the hole. Generally a big gainer or no gainer.
This is a pretty decent-sized Temple offensive line, Randy, and I would think they do a little more zone blocking here and move some people out of the way. Penn State very talented up front. Burris under pressure. He's got a chance to make a play himself. Burris to the end zone for the touchdown.
Good job. Good job.
Filardi missed him.
Looks like Filardi missed him down by the goal line, and Nelson misses him in the backfield. Even though Nelson has somebody in his face, he's got a chance to get Burris as he drops back, feels the pressure coming from the outside. Right there, Nelson had a chance to at least stop him from moving forward. He doesn't. Burris does a nice job of making Filardi miss, then just tiptoes into the end zone over Herring. Several missed tackles on that play right there, and credit Burris with just excellent individual effort.
18-yard running play by Burris to put Temple back on the board. Mikulski's extra point is good. So it is Penn State 52 and Temple 14, and Henry Burris, although it's a little late, having an impact on this game.
Well, you can't say enough about just the individual effort that he had right there. Temple fans are used to seeing him perform like this. It's always pleasurable to watch a guy just excel athletically. He's got the presence of mind to pump the ball. Now he tucks it down, carrying it a little loosely, but yet nobody knocks it out of his hands, and he keeps control of it. That step that he made right over Herring, the free safety that comes flying up and goes at him low to try and knock him out of bounds, he steps right over him, continues his jaunt into the end zone.
A competitor never quits regardless of the score. Matter of fact, if you're a great competitor, you often don't know the score in a situation like this. Both Temple drives have covered 80 yards. It has not been easy when they have scored for Ron Dickerson and company.
One of the bright spots for Ron Dickerson, as you just watched that Henry Burris touchdown, it's only a junior. He will be back. One thing about this Temple team, even though they do have several juniors and seniors that are playing for them, they've all got a lot of experience because they've been playing for 2 or 3 years, ever since Dickerson got there.
Mikulski's kickoff. Enos at the 9. Into the clear for a moment. And he may have gone all the way. Mikulski was the only man back if he didn't get by Kobe Barnett. 26-yard return.
You just feel in this crowd, there's an excitement whenever he's carrying the ball. They're excited to watch him run, what he can do. Just feel that excitement out there.
Mike McQuarrie reports on at quarterback for Penn State. He's a sophomore out of State College, Pennsylvania. First down, Nittany Lions, just short of their 35. Everly. If that happens, they will call it on the defense.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, first down.
Charlie Morris jumped into the... Now, wait a minute, couldn't have been Charlie Morris. Out of the I formation. Here comes Enos. Knocked down on the play by Robert Kelly. I believe it was Kelly who jumped into the neutral zone earlier.
There are several Temple players that could have been called on, as McQuarrie did a nice job varying his cadence, emphasizing the first hut, drawing them off sides. I like that rule this year. I think it's a good rule to change to where you don't have to make contact, just coming into the neutral zone when it causes an offensive player to move.
Second down coming up, 99 yards on 9 carries for Enos. Not a whole lot there. Quick hitter by Gray, the fullback. Penn State will be facing a third down coming up, and about 2 yards to go. T-Lang Lloyd made the stop.
Penn State getting a lot of action for their second string offensive line. See a lot of the new faces in there. Putting together a nice drive right here.
Certainly are. Banging it out.
Wearing down that Temple defensive front seven.
Enos to the goal line. Boy, I tell you, he has excellent vision. A great feel for finding the hole and motoring through it.
And it's unusual to see those kinds of skills in such a young runner. He knows exactly where to cut. Looked like he was trying to take that outside, cuts up the middle, yet he's got the strength to break the tackles. He's got the quickness. He comes through, breaks the tackles right there, keeps his legs moving, takes McWilliams all the way down at the goal line to keep him out.
10 carries, 105 yards for Enos. Let's see if they ask him for the clincher. They do. Touchdown.
Well, he deserved the touchdown. He was the one that carried him down there. Joe obviously felt he deserves it. He earned it. Let's give it to him. Temple all bunched in the middle. Little outside run right behind his fullback Gray, who does a nice job of clearing the way for him. He just jumped right over the top. 2 hands securely around the ball. Gets into the end zone.
Behringer for the point after. And he's got it through the uprights. 7:48 to go. Penn State has cleared the bench as they extend their advantage. 59-14 on the strength of Curtis Enos.
$5,000 for the baby. I'm embarrassed to take this. And you could do something with it. Like what? Go on a cruise. If your mother and I want to do that, we'll do that. I can't pay this back. Pay it back by doing the same thing for your grandchild.
Owning my own business.
Nothing like that feeling.
And it's a great feeling.
When it's your business, every day and every dollar has to count.
Have your own business. I enjoy it.
So consider the American Express corporate card for small business. The card that offers real value, like savings on hotels, car rentals, and UPS overnight shipping. 3% off gasoline at Mobil. Even accident disability insurance at no extra cost. To apply, watch your mail for your application or call 1-800-835-AMEX.
The best card to have.
I tell you, this is a challenge for that Nittany Lion today. 59 push-ups.
One-handed, one pawed.
Yeah. That's right. He's got one paw behind his back.
One paw behind his back. He's going to do it, too.
Yes, he... Oh, the last couple. Show some heart, Lion. And he does.
You've got 96,000 witnesses if he tries to cheat one.
The 59 points scored by Penn State, an all-time high against Temple. Previous high Penn State against Temple was 50-7 back in 1980. And you've got to mention this aspect of it. Last week, Penn State earned a tight victory over Texas Tech and dropped from 4th to 7th in the polls. Last November, Penn State jumped out to a big lead at Indiana. In the fourth quarter, with the game decided, Indiana put together a pretty good run in the fourth quarter, made it look like a ball game. It was not. Penn State, that game, when you look back, may have cost them a national championship. We talk about running up the score and what you have to or don't have to do. He dropped to one knee, apparently not. The return by Davis. I thought Davis fielded that on one knee, but apparently the knee did not touch. The official on the far side was in the right position to make that call. Brian King, meanwhile, made the tackle downfield. There's the scoring drive by Penn State. Now, Joe Paterno said earlier this week he does not like this polls business and the fact that you've got to run up the score to move up in the polls. That winning, it is not just that you win, it's by how many you win by. Oftentimes, that sends the message. And he thinks that's a wrong message to send, running up the score. Davis on the sweep. I think here today, you take a look at Penn State and the 3 substitutions that they've made here today. They've gotten just about everybody into the ball game. They're not trying necessarily to run up this score.
Well, we just saw that last scoring drive. They had 11 plays, 0 passes.
Yeah.
And I agree.
But nonetheless, they had to win here today big. If this was a close game today, Penn State might drop out of the top 10.
I agree with you. I think Joe Paterno's not a big fan of the polls to begin with. I think he would with last year's results, I think he felt that was a little bit unfair, or at least that it was out of his hands. He didn't do anything and couldn't do anything to control that.
Pass is incomplete. Pat Bonner on a quarterback now for Temple, and Frank Carter, the fullback, trapped that pass. There's a look at Joe Paterno, 30th year as head coach. This is where he stands on the all-time victory list.
And moving up the list.
Yes, indeed.
But I think what Paterno has against the polls is, as you said, he doesn't have a choice. The system has put him in a position where this is what he has to do. He doesn't have any other alternative. And this is not what Joe Paterno likes to do.
He could not get Nebraska in the postseason. It was impossible because the Big Ten champion, of course, was locked into the Rose Bowl. Tackle made by Chris Snyder as the protection breaks down. Anthony Cleary was also there.
And make no mistake, Joe was loved to go to the Rose Bowl. It was a wonderful experience to represent the Big Ten out there. He just thinks there's a better system than having to run up the score against teams that don't challenge you to the point where they should, just to where you have to worry about some pollster sitting out in Arizona.
10th punt for John Shea. Penzenik on the return. He made the first man miss, and then he paid for it. Penzenik out to the 33, where Penn State will put it in play. 1st and 10. Shedrick Perry made the stop on the play. 6:16 to go in Happy Valley, and the locals are happy indeed.
There are a lot of reasons we created Ford Windstar with so much passenger and cargo room. A lot of reasons we gave Windstar a wide stance for secure handling. And reasons it has standard dual airbags, standard anti-lock brakes, plus the government's highest front crash test rating. We'd be glad to name all the reasons, but you've already named them. Ford Windstar, created for the most important people in the world.
Oak Tree Health Plan helps families stay healthy with a special focus on children. Oak Tree Care Coordinators are there to assist with social problems that can hinder a child's healthy start. By providing health care with personal attention, Oak Tree Health Plan's making a difference.
On September 18th, get ready for the ride of your life.
Just another day in the Outback.
Hogan Outback, coming to Subaru dealers everywhere.
Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, final 6:16 here at University Park, Beaver Stadium. Boy, the students do enjoy their football here, don't they? I tell you. There's the 3rd Penn State quarterback of the afternoon, Doug Ostrowski from Fox Chapel High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Everly to the outside. Marcus Counts chased him down. 23-yard gain, matching the number on his jersey.
Everly, again, most of his big runs have been to the outside. He does a wonderful job setting up his blockers, cuts inside, then comes back to the outside, then puts the move, and then uses his acceleration to separate between himself and the defender.
Shedrick Perry shaken up on the play. And the middle linebacker is still down.
This is a concern that you have to have. When the score here is 59-14, you've played a lot of the players the entire game if you're Temple. You've got the rest of the season to play. You don't want anybody getting out there getting hurt.
Got a break of the action. 6:08 left to go in this one. Penn State leads by a big margin.
Identify yourself. Do you go for the gusto? Go out on a limb? Go full speed ahead? Go where no man has gone before? Or are you a cornflake eater? Guess not. You go for the adrenaline-pumping, milk-defying taste of Wheaties, made with wall-to-wall, indoor-outdoor, toasty, tasty, 100% whole wheat. A whole mouthful of flavor. It's the whole Megillah. So for taste that goes the distance, goes all out, go for the over-the-top taste of whole wheat Wheaties.
You know, it's going to be a great season.
It is. You think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great season.
I think it's going to be a good season.
There's a lot of question marks. Who's the young quarterbacks? Who are the older guys going to last? I think it's just going to be really terrific here. Miami should win it.
They say so.
Miami has a chance.
AFC?
Miami has, I'll tell you something. Miami has a chance to win everything.
Oh, Super Bowl?
They got a chance to win it all.
Well,
Can the Niners repeat?
Yes.
Can Dallas pick up ground?
Yes.
Will the AFC have a shot at the Super Bowl?
No.
It's time to save. Mazda clearance days are here. Lease a Mazda 626 LX sedan now. With a list of standard equipment that's anything but standard. Yours right now for just $235 a month with nothing down. Mazda clearance days. Miss this, and you can miss the chance to get a Mazda 626 for just $235 a month with zero down.
Penn State in the second half has gone to the bench, and gone to the bench with some real green freshmen. We'll talk about it in a moment. Ostrowski, quarterback. This is Enos once again. John Swift made the stop on the play. Enos, his 12th carry of the ball game for better than 110 yards. You get a look at Doug Ostrowski. He never played quarterback till he got here to Penn State. He's a redshirt freshman, a former tight end and defensive end in high school, was a standout on the high school level in Pittsburgh, but was switched to quarterback in the spring. That's a conversion you don't see often.
I was just going to say, you see that switch in the reverse quite a bit. Yeah. Quarterbacks going to tight end or some other
or
position.
Defensive back.
Not very much that way, though.
Whitey waiting for his blocking nicely. I don't know how they can get this kid back to defense. I just don't know. 14 yards on that gain. Enos and Eberle, two true freshmen, a running back today, have totaled in excess of 200 yards rushing between them in the second half.
You got to give credit to the offensive line because the holes are there, but the linemen are giving these backs the line of scrimmage and maybe a few more yards. These backs, as we just saw with Enos right there, are getting those extra yards on their own. How could you ever not play him at tailback from the beginning?
I don't know. Unless you really like what you got there, tailback. Double tight end formation. This is Gray. Well, for a big man, he shows some acceleration around the left end. And he's close to the first down. Scott Oster made the stop for Temple.
They just keep coming at you. Coming at you and coming at you.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Temple and Ron Dickerson, who has done an outstanding job at Temple. I know it doesn't show on the scoreboard today, and it will not show in the win column thus far this season. They'll be 0-3 after today. But as we mentioned before, he has taken this program from way down the ladder and is starting to inch it up. It just, sometimes it doesn't show up on the scoreboard as quickly as you'd like it to. Gray brought down that time by Kobe Barnett. And the difference in this ball game, Randy, obviously there is a difference in skill position players, no question about that. But really the difference is in the trenches in this game. And you take a look at a smallish defensive front for this Temple ball club. And you take a look at a Penn State that has an established big offensive line, and vice versa, the same type of thing on the other side. Yes, Temple has a big offensive line, but they've been shuffling due to injuries all year. They're going up against a fairly experienced defensive front for Penn State. It's the last link to building a program is in the trenches. Slowed on the carry, getting Penn State to within 7 yards of the end zone again. Patterson made the stop.
Well, that's it, Wayne. It takes longer to build offensive and defensive lines than any other part of your team. I agree with you. There's a difference in the skill players on these two teams, but that difference isn't near as great as it is in the offensive line. You can go out and recruit a quarterback and put him at defensive back, or a defensive back and put him at running back, or a split receiver. You can recruit speed. It's hard to go out and recruit strength, and it takes a long time for that strength to develop. Ron Dickerson said when he got there were only a few players at the bench 225 pounds.
Enos for his third score of the day. What a performance!
Same position, same play. Enos has scored on a couple of times today already. Running the sweep, going to the outside. Temple over pursues it, leaves a huge gaping hole for him to cut up. And again, he's got that acceleration to when he decides to cut up, does it very quickly and gets through there before Temple can react, close that hole down.
Behringer on the point after. And Penn State 65 to make it 66-14 over Temple. Well, congratulations all around for that freshman, Curtis Enos. 3 second-half touchdowns in a starring role.
So the Nittany Lions of the Fighting Irish have given us another great college football game. And here are two tired generals looking for each other at midfield. Tough break, Joe.
Yeah, I know. The tie's too much. It's nice, but maybe next time something in a crew neck. How'd you think that'd be too casual?
Collect a Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents.
Look, Joe, it's not the end of the world. Next cup, think pastels.
Introducing the Sony Digital Satellite System with the Signal Seeker LED, the ultimate way to engage in all the movies, sports, and entertainment from USSB and DirecTV. The Sony Digital Satellite System. Lock onto yours at your nearest Sony dealer.
Visit your local Sony brand DSS retailer for a demonstration of the power of digital entertainment. This weekend, stop by these stores to join the Maximum Television Tour. Fun, entertainment, prizes, and more.
I love shopping at Mealy's. They always have the latest fashions. I found this gorgeous living room set.
The salespeople were terrific. Did you see that solid cherry bedroom set? Such great quality. I checked other stores, and Mealy's definitely has the best prices.
This place feels great. Between the kids' room, the cafe, and the type of salespeople, Mealy's really has us in mind.
This place is awesome.
Mealy's Furniture. You'll find it awesome, too.
Wayne Larrivee, Randy Wright, good to have you with us on a college football afternoon. And now a look at our Ford Player of the Game, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And the Player of the Game, Curtis Enos of Penn State, 14 carries, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns.
All in the second half.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's some kind of performance. A 133 on the board. A freshman, a true freshman.
Well, when he's the third tailback that you've used today, behind Archie and Everly, pretty strong production.
And they've got another tailback that we didn't see today due to injury, and that, of course, is Stephen Pitts, who's been down with a fractured right foot. Behringer's kickoff, a low liner of a kick. Here comes Davis. Nice spin move by Danny Davis, and Temple will take over just short of its 35. Clint Holes made the stop for Penn State. The numbers on the latest Penn State scoring drive. Just 225, and they did it on the ground.
Just a tribute to their offensive line. To be able to go 67 yards in 2.5 minutes with no passing plays, nothing out of bounds, nothing to stop the clock. Just big chunks of yardage.
Under 4 minutes to go. Bonner on a deep drop. And Bonner was met with authority near the 39-yard line, a gain of about 5 yards. Matt Joyner led the charge for Penn State. So Penn State will improve to 2-0, and Temple falls to 0-3. Take a look at what the Nittany Lions have coming up at Rutgers next week, and that'll be played in Giant Stadium. And then Wisconsin and Ohio State. That's really the tough stretch of the Big Ten schedule. Purdue, Iowa, Indiana, Northwestern, and Michigan.
How about your tough stretch of the schedule to be both games at home?
Yeah, not bad. Good scheduling, I'd say.
and it's a stretch to say that it's a stretch because it's only 2 games.
Eugene Culbreth on the carry for a first down for Temple.
You look at Penn State's schedule, they don't play Illinois, as we just saw. They play Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Michigan, all right here. And other than that, the fact they've got a ton of talent, and they're defending Big Ten champions.
Coincided pretty well with the loss of Kerry Collins, Kijana Carter, and Brady, the tight end, right? Not bad timing on that schedule.
Not bad timing, especially when you look at their replacements and how they have played.
Bonner still has it. Intercepted on the play. Damon Troy made a great break on that pass.
You can't throw the ball late out to the sideline because the timing is destroyed. As Bonner is back here, he's looking downfield, then right at the last minute throws it out to the sideline. Damon Troy steps right in front of it, makes a nice catch, kept his balance, would have run that ball all the way into the end zone.
2:23 left to go.
You know, if you're Bonner, you're down 66-14. You got to try and make something happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, throwing it away, it's kind of hard to not try and force something in there.
This is the 5th time today that Penn State will have started a drive in Temple territory, and the Nittany Lions need a timeout as they continue to shuffle their personnel into the lineup. Joe Nastasi in there at wide receiver now. Take a look at what's coming up next week on Creative Sports. College football Saturday, Minnesota and Syracuse up at the Carrier Dome. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Some of you may see Miami and Virginia Tech. A lot of you on the East Coast will be watching that game. Jason Stevens is also in the game for Penn State at the fullback spot. We're talking about Joe now reaching down to the 4th and 5th spots on his depth chart.
It's a good thing it's a home game for them. They'd only have 60 or so players. If it were an away game, they'd have to leave them in there.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell these kids when they get their opportunity to pull back the horns, you know, to let up.
Well, yeah, you don't want to do that. The only thing you can do as a coach is call your basic running plays, take your time, tell your quarterback to take your time in the huddle, let the 25-second clock run down, let your players play.
Gray, the fullback, stopped by Barnett. Second down upcoming for Penn State. Coming up on 2 minutes left to go in this one. The nation's longest winning streak stretches to 19 games. Ostrowski at quarterback. Nice run off the right side by Jason Stevens. Marcus counts the stop for Temple. And it'll be 3rd down and about 3 coming up for Penn State. A little bit less than 3.
Wayne, I think as Joe Paterno looks back at this game, of all the things that have gone very, very well, basically everything they've tried to do, I think he still has to be most pleased with his defense. That was the biggest question last year. They played very, very well last week. To come out today and shut down a quarterback like Burris and the entire offense, got to be happy with that.
Once again, Stevens for a 1st down and a penalty marker down. That was counts on the tackle, a high tackle attempt, maybe for a face mask penalty here on that flag.
Looked like a flagrant face mask is going to be called here against Temple. Counts came up. All he could grab onto was the face mask, and he didn't let it go. Looks like he holds on to it as he's coming up here. A high tackle, as you said. Not only does he grab it, but he continues to hold on and never lets it go.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15 yards from the spot of the run, 1st down.
That's a dangerous, dangerous tackle.
Sure is.
He never let Stevens' helmet go. That's what the flagrant 15-yard penalty was put in for and designed to stop.
And that's a mistake made out of frustration by the defender. Penn State on the move with a minute left to go in the game. Slow to crashing forward. Down to about the 18-yard line. Scott Oster made the stop for Temple. 66-14 Penn State. They might have one more play to run here.
They let that clock run down, at least the play clock run down. I think one play will be it. Just running simple dives right into the middle of the pile.
Eric Gelman getting the call on the final play. Boy, he's a fan favorite here, as you could tell by the roar from the student section.
Listed as a wide receiver, a senior, been on the team 4 or 5 years.
Former running back. He was a running back earlier in his Penn State career, and this one comes to a close. The Penn State Nittany Lions and Joe Paterno talking with his former assistant Ron Dickerson. Nittany Lions go to 2-0. Temple 0-3, and the Lions now 19 wins in a row. For Randy Wright, Wayne Larrabee, so long.